Guerrilla cricket. Whoa. Guerrilla cricket. Whoa. Guerrilla. Take guard, man the barricades, patrol the cover boundary. At last the time is come, this is a cricketing emergency. Hear this call to arms for every cricket revolutionary. Take up your bats and stumps for the test match insurgency. At first they tried to silence us, but we would not be silenced. They threatened us with lies, so we threatened them with violence. Che Guevara, Sangakkara, Joseph Stalin, Douglas Jardine, Robespierre, Darrell Hare, Vladimir Lenin, O'Brien Kevin, guerrilla cricket. It's not about the winning, it's about how many rules you break. Even in cricket commentary, this is the best advice to take. Pick guerrilla cricket, it's the finest choice you'll ever make. There's so much more to cricket than rev counters and a slice of cake. At first they tried to sanitize us and clean up our act, but people like it filthy, and we know that for a fact. Fidel Castro, Lenny Pascoe, Carlos the Jackal, Umar Akmal, Mahatma Gandhi, Grant and Andy, Brendan Behan, Austin Ian, guerrilla cricket. Stick with us, cause you know we're not the kind of thing that you see on the TV and the radio. So vive la revolution. First they tried to buy us, but we would not be bought. Okay, we were.
Right, enough of that. We started a bit late because they started a bit early. Good morning, good evening, good dawn, good dusk, wherever you are in the world. It's guerrilla cricket, and England are deep in the shit, is the only way to put this. They had their opportunities yesterday. They had 177 for 6 at lunch, didn't they? Shortly on, and then they somehow let it go away. They'll be ruining the fact that they dropped South Shaquille on what 29 or something stupid like that. Anyway, and then Sajid Khan came out and gave it a bit of a blasting after Nauman Ali had spent some time, but done really well supporting South Shaquille, and the tail put on what 200 runs basically, maybe 230, which is a bit depressing if you're an England fan. And they ended up with a lead of 77, which I think should be too strong. And then to cop it all off at the end of the day, England lost 3 quick wickets, 24 for 3, and strangely 2 OEWs that went straight on on a wicket that we're expecting to turn. Still a chance. England's 2 best batsmen at the crease, Root and Brook, but you kind of feel that one of them's got to get a ton and the other one's at least got to get near a ton. If it wasn't to be a ton, Jamie Smith's got to do what he did in the first innings, and England, I think minimum lead 200 to maybe get a result. I feel that feels about right. Don't know about you guys. I'm joined by Messi and Forty, obviously Australians. It's daytime over there. They can be asked to be up.
I think my feeling is bigger picture stuff, probably. Yes, it's nice for England to win every test if you're an England supporter. That's nice. But also, I think this must be a real shot in the arm for test match cricket in Pakistan this series. I would imagine they just lost 6 on the trot. And classic Pakistan, they put everything on red, and it came up red on the roulette table. They put everything on changing horses mid-course through... And trusted in the spinners, and these 2 guys, they'll be very unfamiliar, Sajid Khan and No Man Is an Island, and suddenly they are running through England. Classic Pakistan, what we love about them in test cricket. So
classic England as well, in one sense. Can't fucking play spin.
Can't play spin. Never have been able to play spin.
Never been able to play spin. Whether it be Bazball, whether it be just plodding around, either way. I think Bazball works slightly better.
The only time I can really think that England achieved any mastery was when Cook and Peterson played against India in the last 30 years or so. That's the only time they've come to the subcontinent. Well, 25 years, they did well in about turn of the century when Duncan Fletcher, that famous win in Karachi, and they won in Sri Lanka, but they're rarities.
Yeah, we have one in Sri Lanka. To be fair, we battered them. We battered Pakistan last time we were over there, but they weren't spinning wickets particularly, were they? And England would have felt they massively missed a trick here. Probably shouldn't have got out in the way they did in the first innings. I think maybe the pitch got a bit to their head. I mean, it has turned and it's kept low, but I don't think it's been a minefield by any stretch.
It's not been a minefield, I would say. I think, funnily enough, although I was very fatalistic going into the last day in the last test, there is a chance here, because what we've seen in the first two innings is once it gets around about the 30th over mark, it seems to calm down and become predictable. If Root and Brook are still there at the 30th over mark, I completely agree with you, Bear. One of them's got to get a ton and one of them's going to get 70 or 80, and one of the lower order has got to support them in that venture. But that's a long way off.
That is a long way off. Well, it might not be. There could be early doors wickets, in which case we'll be going home early. I've got a viewing.
Exactly.
I've got a viewing at 2:00.
Okay.
So I'm kind of hoping it goes to the end of the day, so I can just fall asleep on the sofa for half an hour and then do a viewing. Otherwise, I'm going to go home and come back. We'll give you some jingles to start the day off. These two are batting. It is this guy.
His voice is high-pitched and ginger hair like a pict, but massive runs he has hit, so there's that. Introduce yourself.
Joe Root.
Introduce yourself.
Joe Root.
Introduce yourself.
Joe Root, actually.
With and the bowler is.
Some time has passed
You get ready to bowl the first
since
ball.
Edward confessed, and now Nauman Ali is feeling repressed.
He's coming through the umpire. Old school. Love it. Bowling the first ball of the day to Harry Brook, who gets right forward and defends, and there's no run. I mean, the wicket doesn't look too bad from up the top, from the cameras.
The cracks haven't opened up, have they?
Not really.
We just didn't know what was going to happen at the start of the play. We assumed it was going to open up, but it just hasn't.
Well, I suppose it is only day 3. I mean, it could get
True.
horrible by tomorrow. But, I mean,
Well, let's hope so.
I mean, considering the amount of work they did on it, I mean, all the stories at the beginning, raking it, blowing it, heating it. It's bloody difficult to create a result wicket in Pakistan, it would seem. That's tossed up, nicely driven by Harry Brook, presumably someone out in the deep. There is, and it'll be a single, first run of the day. And I think these two have just got to settle in, haven't they? Let's go, right, fuck it.
Yeah.
No Bazball today, for the time being, anyway.
Surely not. If ever there was a time to put just to get to over 30, we're on over 5 at the minute.
The thing is, as Pakistan proved, and Saud Shakil particularly, if you're a good bat, there's always a space. And you can put as much pressure on by scoring 3 or 4 and over just in singles. There's no need to take any rash shots.
Yeah.
You just got to make sure you watch the ball. The odd one is still scooting, that's the danger ball. And the odd one does turn sharply. But generally, if it's going to turn from... Oh, there's a big appeal for LBW. I think it must have got an inside edge.
Honestly, that looks close.
It does look close. Must have been an inside edge. But again, that one just didn't spin.
If it's not an inside edge, that is
Might have been going down.
Well, it might have been outside the line. Well, they haven't reviewed, so thank God for that. That was, what, 3rd ball of the morning?
That's Joe Root as well, best batsman in the world, copyright. Let's have a look.
Yeah, that's because there's a big inside edge.
Thank
God for that.
Middled it onto his pad.
But I wonder whether Nauman Ali is actually saucering the ball, so it's not actually hitting the seam. That's why they're going straight on. I mean, they are wily spinners, and they bowl a lot slower than England. That one's outside off stump, and Root just plays it out to point, and there is no run.
They're doing something that the England spinners didn't do, and that may well be it.
Well, I think they're better.
They're better. Where have they been keeping these two guys?
Well, I guess on a non-spinning wicket, they're just as useless as any other spinner. But I mean, I guess if you're at home and you kind of know the conditions, that's Root just drives that back down the ground to long off. It'll be a single to get him off the mark. Then by taking more of the pace off, maybe they're allowing the ball to do more. Certainly playing with a flight better than England's bowlers did, you'd have to say.
Yep. I think
last ball of the first over. Now Manani bowling to Brook, who gets it inside half the bat. That was quicker. Goes to short leg and there's no run. Anyone with us?
Yes, although I suspect most people didn't realise it was starting early. Jamar the Statsman says, hi all, good afternoon. Dara Azizi's with us from Arizona, says, hi all. Leah says, because people have asked me if anyone would like to join me for the Border Gavaskar Trophy commentary stroke watch along, let me know. Dara says, we still have our best players at the crease, correct? As Leah says, true that. This internal chatter. That's it. Thus far, we have 27 watching us. So yes, it's early, very early.
It is very early. Well, I see that New Zealand have lost another 2 wickets for about 4 runs.
Yeah, they're 241 for 9 now. Actually, they lost the third wicket.
Third wicket. Well, starting the next over. I'll give you the bowler's jingle in a second. The first ball is just clipped nicely by Root out into the deep. He'll get himself a single, and he's off and running. This guy's bowling.
Sajid Khan, the very best model of a modern major cricketer. Sajid Khan.
Can you tell locations on YouTube? Can you tell where people are watching?
No, but they generally tell us.
We do get the data after the game telling us where they're from.
Down the track comes Brook. Doesn't try and hit it too hard. No, I don't mind that. Just clips it down a long on and there's no run.
It's all been vertical,
1 run, sorry.
No horizontal bats, which I'm personally quite pleased to see. I do not think sweeping's the way to go here.
No.
Yeah.
Well, if they put Ron Hayden in there, that would have been interesting. But I suppose he knew there wasn't one there.
Yeah.
Root goes back and just drops that into the offside again. That one didn't spin. Very strange. Maybe the wicket's getting better.
Well, I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, Rawalpindi traditionally has been a fucking concrete strip.
Yeah.
And maybe it's just reverting to normal as time goes on.
Yeah, that's very true. If Root can play with soft hands, it doesn't sound like an impossible strategy. I don't see why he doesn't say to Ollie Pope, for example, play with soft hands, mate.
Well, I think Ollie Pope might be a bit gone in the head. I mean,
Easier said than done sometimes.
Well, that's kind of the question. Is it easier said than done? It feels like a reasonably straightforward adjustment on the subcontinent.
Down the track came Brook, and I think Sajid saw him coming, fired it in. Not sure if there was an inside edge, may have been just been pad. Nowhere to pill for LBW. No, well, it's probably going down.
It's retraining your habits, though, Forthy, isn't it? I mean, that's the hard.
Yeah, that's the thing, isn't it? I mean,
muscle memory. I agree.
Again, Sajid fires it in, and Brook just defends from the crease to short leg, and there's no run. 29 for 3 after 11. 2 gone in the day.
Oh, that one's over already. Bloody hell!
Yeah, it goes quick.
Jamar the Sats fan says, let's go England, we need to get a lead of 150 by the end of the day. Well, I mean, if they're in at the end of the day, it'll be a lot more than 150, I reckon. But
it certainly will.
Tea time, it'll be 150 easily. But yeah, so much depends on this partnership, doesn't it?
Yeah, very much so. This Stokes and Jamie Smith, really, you know.
Yeah, it's an interesting one about Stokes, isn't it? He's, if you're fiercely objective about it, his place would actually be under a tiny bit of threat, but it's Ben Stokes, so it.
Well, swept actually by Root. It was a very full ball, probably able to do that. And there is a guy coming around. Should get back for 2 this time, though. They do. I mean, the first job will be for these 2. If these 2 can get to parity, at least we're only none for 3 then, instead of minus whatever it is for 3.
Yeah, and also let's bear in mind that all the runs, well, the majority of runs in this match so far have come when the 5th wicket has fallen. So we should see.
Very much so. Goes back route, forces it up to mid-on. They'll get a single. It's a quick one. Shah Masood throws at the stumps and there's no run. 1 run, sorry.
Shah Masood always seems very much the captain who's mildly displeased with his colleagues.
And you've got to remember, if these two can stay there as well, it puts some pressure back onto Pakistan. It'll be interesting to see how Pakistan respond, isn't it? I mean, they are in the ascendancy. If these two start getting a big stand, it'll be interesting to see how they go. I think 200 is a sort of 200 lead is kind of where England want to be getting to. That's defended into the onside and there is no run. And that would certainly make an intriguing finale to the game.
And there are some psychological frailties, no doubt, because they did lose 6 in a row before this series, Pakistan.
Yeah,
so, you know,
and
they're not mentally robust.
Well, and it would be, that's nicely flighted by no man, but Brook just punches that out deep to the covers, and there's no run. Both these guys didn't score any runs in the first innings, which is a good omen. Generally, people don't score in both innings. So, if these are our two premier batsmen, and neither scored in the first innings,
that's what I call wishful thinking. Actually,
well, I very rarely. I mean, this is it. How many people score tons in both innings? I mean, Root has only managed it once in his entire career. So, and not many people do it. There aren't that many double centurions in both innings in a Test match. So generally, succeed in one and fail in the other, which is good news, which hopefully means that Saad Shakil, Noman and Sajid collapse in a heap if we do get that far in the second innings, and it'll be interesting.
I think the thing we really like about Test cricket is it's a real test, and it's a physical and a mental test. There's a reason you can't score big runs in both innings, because it takes so much out of you, not just physically but mentally as well.
Yeah.
Yep.
And this test has swung both ways already. Ooh, that one's turned this time quite sharply. Kept low, but went past the outside edge of Root's bat, and there's no run.
Turned and kept super low.
I mean, England were buggered at lunchtime, got themselves to what seemed like a decent score. Were on top when they had Pakistan at 6-7 down at lunchtime. Then an hour behind the 8 ball again. If they can swing it back the other way, put pressure back on Pakistan, it'll be a good test, even if it ends in 4 days. That one's floated up, and Root gets right forward and defends out to the covers, and there's no run.
Racing Rant is with us, one of our great sponsors in the form of Patreon. You too can have your logo on our YouTube page if you join us at that level. Welcome, Racing Rant. It says visualness in Australia. KO Foxtel unaware of the early start. Yeah, they're not very on the ball. It's coming on at 2 minutes to the hour, as I understand it.
Foxtel's on in my house here. I've got
is
it on.
it? Oh, it must have just come on then. Great.
No, it came on about 10 minutes ago.
Oh, did it?
Someone up in the control room went, shit, it starts early.
Yes, that's right.
A live shot. I just missed what happened, but I'm presuming that's Brook driving through the covers for the first one of these for the morning. England moving along.
It's Nissan She. It's Nissan She.
He shimmied down the wicket and got to the pitch of the ball. And it's a lovely cover.
There's the advantage of actually getting Foxtel. KO says starting soon.
KO, don't bother with that nonsense. Hey, way over the odds for Foxtel.
Down the track again comes... Ooh, Brook does get enough of that just about, and hits it back over the bowler's head. 4 more.
4 on the floor, and 1 more 4 than the 4 before. That's what 4's are for, to get funky on the dance floor.
Just calm down here, Brookie. He didn't really get all of that.
I'm really not sure about this.
Whoa.
Well, he did get to the pitch, but I mean, if Sajid Khan is sharp, he'll just arrow one in a minute, and
or if one kicks a little bit low.
Exactly that. That one he just defends. Ooh, that might have been dropped at short leg. That one turned, dragged the length back a little bit.
Let's have a look. Well, they got their hands on the hands on the head. So let's have a look at the replay.
Ooh, it was a very difficult chance, very low down at short leg.
Straight in, straight out.
Yeah, they either stick or they don't, do they?
Fantastic catch.
Ooh, that one's shorter. Turns. Brook tries to work it round the corner. Misses
Well, you
it.
can see
There's
why
no
he's
run.
shimmying down the pitch a bit, because this is keeping lower than we'd seen. Because it's getting lower and lower, this pitch.
Sargent's enjoying himself, isn't he?
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah,
it's
it's
very
glorious,
different. They're
isn't
very different bowlers as well, aren't they? I mean, Nauman is quite slow and gives a lot of air. This guy Sajid just seems to fire it in. Still gets the work on the ball. They're going to come back for 2 again. Good running. I'm going to move on to 45 for 3. I guess
Yeah.
the quicker England feel, the quicker they get rid of the deficit, they're actually in positive. And they're putting pressure back on Pakistan. Just not got to lose the wickets. Don't give it away. That one's tossed up again. Turns into Harry Brook, who whips it into the leg side, and there is no run. 16 off 20 for Brook, 11 off 16 for Root. 43 for 3 England after 13. Back to you, Messi.
Jumar the Statsman says, do what the number 6 did for Pakistan. Well, that's, hopefully. Dara Azizi says, I do think we haven't come down the track enough to the spinners, hence the LBWs. Yes and no. I mean, there is a real danger if the ball keeps low or is turning a lot when you do come down. It's really hard with this pitch to come down. And a lot of the LBWs have actually been going back.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, you come down the pitch to Nauman, you've got the chance that if you don't get to the pitch, you get beaten and you get stumped. I think oh my God, there's a reverse sweep. Please, Rooty, put it away. He did connect with it quite nicely, but he hit man at backward point and there's no run.
I don't know. This all feels a little bit high risk to me.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah.
Work the singles. Calm
I'd say
down.
so.
Anyway, Noman around the wicket to Rooty, goes back. You see, that's the one that if that scoots it on the ground, trouble. But he defends it from the crease, and there is no run.
I guess also psychologically in your head you're thinking, God, I'm probably not going to be here for a long time. I better get some.
Well, I think you've got to put that away and go look at what Sam
I think
Shaquille
you
did.
have, yeah.
And look what Jamie Smith did. I mean, he wasn't there for a great amount of time, but I suppose he was aggressive. Now one tosses that one up. Root just plays that out to cover, and there is no run.
I understand it when you don't trust your technique. You know, if Mark Wood or someone like that comes in, yeah, sure, blam away. But Root and Brook should trust their techniques.
Yeah, they should.
I can tell you, New Zealand are all out for 255. So 359 to win.
Oh! Jesus. Root goes right back. That one does keep low, but maybe he's seen enough balls this morning because he managed to get his bat down on it and play it square out to deep square leg. Gets himself a single.
I mean, the only thing you can say is keeping, as it were, consistently low. It's not up and down. It's not suddenly jarring up at your chest and then scooting along by your ankles. It's not a surprise when it keeps really low. So they're kind of factoring that in.
Well, you'd hope so. Brook facing up, and Noman Ali is around the wicket, swept by Brook. That was a good shot. He swept it from outside off stump. That's a safe sweep, I'd say, to a guy who's turning it away. Should get back for 2. Didn't try and hammer it either. Just guided it very fine. Well, in 20 minutes they've added another 25 runs, haven't they? I mean, we're only 31 runs behind now. Interesting.
And I think this will play on Pakistan. Once they get into positive territory, Pakistan will get a little flaky, you would sense.
Well, you'd hope, wouldn't you? That's defended back down the track and there's no run. Well, I mean, even if these two can get to before the next wicket fell 60 ahead.
Oh yeah,
you know,
then game on, I think.
Yeah, then you would have game. Well, as long as the rest can actually muster some runs.
Yeah.
As you say, Stokes hasn't had a great time of it, but hey.
Leah says probably England just can't play spin in the subcontinent, and Dara says or anywhere. Also a reminder that there is a premiere later today on my channel for a chat with former England international Will on my channel. That's Will Reynolds of this parish. And Dara says you can't keep going back. Yeah, it's pretty dangerous. Going
No,
back
it
on this
is.
track.
Well, Root seems to be going forward. He went forward to that one. It ballooned off his pad, I think. I'm not sure if there was any bat in it. Might have been a bit of glove, but it was forward of short leg.
He was reaching for that.
He was. Well, that's the thing. They're trying to get you to reach, isn't it? Root gets right forward. I think turns, maybe beats the bat, but he's well outside the line. And he can't be out there because he was playing a shot. So there's no run.
Yeah. Sashi Khan's, it seems there's more restrained than normal. There's not so much googly eye action so far, and that will all change with the wicket.
Yeah, more than likely. I mean, this is it. You've got to try and keep him quiet. Sajid, that's swept by Root from outside off stump again, a safe sweep. And goes down to long leg where it's a single.
Someone like Sajid Khan's very important for a team as well. When they see him performing and doing his little jig when he gets a wicket and so on, it's infectious, you know. It spreads through a team, that kind of character. Shane Warne did the same.
Aye.
Of course he Australia for many years.
Down the track comes Brook, and I think Sajid saw him coming, fired it in. Didn't get to the pitch, but Brook just changed his shot and defended it into the offside, and there's no run.
Pinch for England, Pepsi for Pakistan.
Well, yeah, Sajid comes in again. That one's shorter, and it did keep low. Fortunately, Brook came down with a reasonably straight bat and played it out to mid-wicket. And there is no run.
Now, if you get that first up in your first couple of overs, you might well be in trouble. You've got to you've got to give yourself a chance and play yourself in a bit.
Ooh, goes back, tries to cut it. This one doesn't spin. And it's taken by Rizwan, who does his characteristic throw it up in the air. And when you've got no sound on the TV, you think, shit, he might have actually got something.
Yeah.
But clearly, he didn't. It was close, though. Wasn't far from the bat.
It wasn't a good shot.
Wasn't a great shot. But no run, end of the over.
Yeah.
47 for 3.
Okay. Sorry, Mark Zipp's with us. He says, morning all and good night. See you on Sunday for the record show in Syracuse. Worth a trip. Good autumn colour on the trees too. Yes, great time of year up there. Leah says, well, Dara, they can play spin in England, but I guess that's mostly down to there not being much support for spinners from pitches in England.
Indeed.
Well, unless you go to Taunton.
Well, yeah. First ball, the next over is just defended. No run, carry on.
And she says, I guess there's a reason for Hyderabad not being a test ground.
How do England's test players go when they play in Somerset? Does anyone know?
I imagine some of them score runs. I mean, Root didn't. I'm not sure how many games people like Root and Brook actually play in a county system and in a year now.
Not many. We'll need one of our county stalwarts to answer that question.
That was a single just down round the corner by Root. Off no man.
Well, we'll all say Harry Brook's a hero if he raisins it out here, but I would say fairly high risk strategy so far.
Tossed up, played by Brook, square on the offside, out to point, no run.
Very much a results game, cricket, isn't it? When Zach Crawley got his 180 against Australia last year, could have been out first ball. He just dropped the foot in front of the keeper, and everyone would have said, "What a bloody idiot!"
Yeah, exactly. Well, these two are certainly good enough.
Oh yeah,
they just got to apply themselves, and obviously Root, we know. It's got 12,700 test runs, so that one's defended into the offside by Brook. Thinks about a single, but it's not there.
2 tests ago, these two got England's all-time record partnership.
Yeah, and they've got a draw on that, haven't they? And go, well, come on, we know.
Exactly.
We're not going to get that today. I mean, that happens once in a lifetime, but it's quite easy to get a 250-run partnership between us. No man around the wicket, tossed up, and Brook's right forward. Defended, and there is no run.
He looks intent, Brook. He looks like he's got his head completely focused on the task. Whether he's almost got his head slightly over-focused on the task and he's slightly overcorrecting in an aggressive manner, time will tell.
Well, I think if they sit there and they're still there in half an hour's time, I think things will look a bit different.
Yeah,
I think take the sting out of the initial Pakistan. I mean, defended out to the offside. There's no one. I mean, I guess Pakistan think after what happened last night, it's all going to collapse in a heap today. If these two can put it back on Pakistan, they have to start thinking again, and then hopefully some gaps open up and the runs start flowing a little bit easier. More singles, rotate the strike, etc., etc. 48 for 3 after 16, England.
Dara, Dara's saying this is like looking like a Brook or bust. And just to bring you up to date from Pune, India need 359 runs at 1.4 and over the next 2 3/4 days.
Yes, right.
Sajid is in, and Root plays from the crease up to a sort of wide, short mid-wicket. Straightish short mid-wicket.
That's a slightly odd shot from Root. He almost got himself too far over to the offside and ended up playing it with his bat towards leg.
Sajid Khan is in, swept hard. There is a fielder out there, deep mid-wicket. It'll be just a single. I think he's choosing length very well this morning, Root, I think.
He is, yeah. I mean, there haven't been too many alarms. Brook slightly hit a shot over the top, which could have gone to hand, but other than that, as the odd ball has kept low, but we've come to expect that on this pitch.
It goes back, nice shot by Brook. Being chased by Noman, who's not the quickest.
Yeah,
he looks all of his 38 years or whatever it is. It's forced off the back foot, not quite hard enough to get to the boundary. It looks like they got back for 3.
I was playing in a parents versus son match when I was coaching a few years ago, and I put on the boundary and I overran the ball, made myself look a complete idiot. You know, just couldn't put the brakes on, and the ball ended up going for 4 behind me.
That's what parents are for.
Absolutely. Sajid is in. That one he drags down a little bit, and Root just goes back, works into the leg side. They'll get a single. I mean, England have begun at 4, 5 and over, I thought this morning. Singles. The odd over's gone for like 1 or 2, but mostly they've managed to get 3 or 4 and over just in singles, and that's all they've got to do. Just keep rotating.
Well, this is the 8th over of the day, believe it or not.
Well, I mean, once you're in on this pitch, you begin to, you like South Shakir, you begin to. I mean, that was a ball that kept low, but Brook almost expected it to keep low.
Yeah, it was fired in as well, and there is no run.
The pitches which get you out are the ones where it's up and down. This one is just down.
Yeah, true. Down the track comes Brook. Good shot, but can't beat. I presume it's Shah Masood at cover. The only man there. If he'd got it through, may well have got 4, but he didn't. Ends the 17th over 53 for 3.
3.4 runs per over for the last 10 overs is what Cricket Info is saying. We're quiet on the socials, but a reminder that the GPL is open. It's at £89, so go to guerrillacricket.com and click on competition. You can enter for the sum of just £1, pick how many runs will be scored today, and if you're on the nose, you will win the jackpot. Unless somebody else happens to pick the same number, in which case you'll share it. But it's good fun and keeps the interest up towards the end of the day.
Indeed. Root drives that out through the covers, presumably straight to the man on the boundary. Indeed, it's a single. The other thing England will be trying to do, I guess, is get these two out of the attack. It took a long time in the first innings, but I mean, these guys, they bowled the equivalent of an 80 overs together spell over the end of the last test and the beginning of this one. At some point, even they've got to get tired if they're wheeling away all the time.
Well, your fingers get tired as a spinner, don't they? That's what they say.
Ooh, soft edge past the slip. Will be 1. Are they going to come back for 2? I don't know, because we're following the fielder. Looks like it. That
was just
no, that was just
2
a single. Was it 2? I don't know who played. I thought Brook played that, in which case it was only a single.
Maybe it was just that was just a single. But most encouragingly, Brook played that with beautiful soft hands.
Yeah. And of course the pitch would have been rolled this morning, so they've got to make use of hopefully the life being deadened out of it for an hour or so. That one, Root goes deep in his crease, plays it from the crease out into the offside, and there's no run.
He's reading it well, Root. He saw that one coming fired in at him early.
All right.
England just trailing by 22 now.
Indeed. Noman coming around the wicket, tossed up, and Root just dead bats that out to cover. No run.
Unfortunately, the Saturday has not brought the crowds flooding in, as far as we can tell. I understand you probably don't want to sit out in the blazing sun, so maybe there's a few more under the shade that we can't see.
All right. Not a lot of
And
shade at the
it's
ground.
also
though.
the early start too. which
Yeah.
kind of,
That's true.
Noman, reverse swept, beats the man at backward square. That will be 4 runs. Good shot from Rooty.
You ask where I live, is the address I give, the phone.
Really nice shot. Got right down on top of that.
Well,
It's
I don't
actually
want
very
to.
pleasant there today. It's 26.9 degrees at the moment, 44% humidity, a breeze coming in from the east-northeast, about 3 kilometres an hour.
Root this time to get some right forward defends, and there is no run.
End of over.
End of over.
End of over, end of messages for the time being.
Oh, okay. Well, that's very similar weather prognosis for Melbourne today. We were about 25 or something. Very pleasant, very slight breeze. I just went for a bike ride. Beautiful.
Well,
Nice.
yeah, it's interesting, isn't it? It's perfect weather for cricket in Perth today, but a week from today, it's forecast to be 39 degrees.
Yeah.
And it's still October, for God's sake. God
Jeez.
knows what it's going to be like when summer starts in December.
That's worked into the leg side by Brook. They're going to think about 2. I shouldn't do. They don't bother in the end. They start off thinking about it, but no. Just knocked out into the deep by Brook. Moves on to 23. Root on 21. England 60 for 3. Trailing now just by 17 runs.
I went on probably a very minor little excursion, certainly by Nesta's stands, about 12 kilometres. I must have passed 7 or 8 games on ovals as I went past.
That one's tossed up, and Root goes back, plays with a straight back down towards long on, gets himself another single.
I'm guessing that probably wouldn't be the case if you cycled for 12 kilometres in England. You probably wouldn't go past 7 or 8 games in the middle of summer. I don't know, maybe you would. Some places.
Wow, Sajid comes in, bowls that short, turns sharply back into Brook, who goes back and chops it into the offside, and there is no run.
He was a little fortunate that was, he just dragged that down a touch. He had enough time to get back into his crease because it spun back fairly sharply.
Indeed. Kept a little low as well.
I think they're expecting it to come low now.
Yeah, I think so. Down the track a little bit, Brook there, clips it into the leg side. I think about 2 again, but it's not there. Another single.
I mean, it coming through low is only a problem if all the other balls are higher. If all the balls are
Yeah,
low,
I mean, if
then-
you're exactly that. If you're expecting it to be low, then the surprise ball is the one that jumps, isn't it?
Yeah, that's
Sajid
right.
comes in, swept by Root down towards long leg, and there's a single. Maybe that this wicket has flattened out.
Well, I get the sense that they feel they can trust the bounce, which is low, but
Yeah.
they trust it.
You kind of do get that feeling. I mean, Pakistan didn't do a lot of sweeping. England like to sweep.
Well, they're sweeping, as you say, when it's quite wide of off, which is a reasonably safe sweep.
Tossed up by Sajid, driven hard by Brook, straight at Shah Massoudi. It was pretty hard at him, and he didn't manage to field it cleanly. It popped up behind him. And they get back for 2 for that one. End of the over.
Just to bring you up to date, Pune, action-packed start there. First ball to Jaiswal, almost caught it slip, but not enough evidence to show that it was caught. Second ball for 6, third ball for 4 at the end of the first over. India are 10 for no wickets.
Going hard.
Yes, yeah. I think they're making the best of pace on the ball while they've got it.
Well, yeah. England trail now just by 12 runs.
And Darren Azizi says, Darren Stevens was a good player of spin. Lest we forget.
If these two, I don't know, let's not get ahead of ourselves, but on the other hand, let's. If these two were to put on another 40 or 50, then you'd say match very much on.
Yeah.
Yeah. I love the way every time someone says, let's not get ahead of ourselves, they immediately go ahead of themselves.
Of course.
Well,
that's what
yeah.
you say.
Reverse swept by Root. And that was, well, I mean, he got it nicely, but he swept that off middle stump. Wouldn't want to miss it.
There's always a but. Yes.
Oh, sorry, that was... What did they go for a single there?
Yes, they did.
Oh,
they
wow.
Did.
No, they did get the single.
On to 20.
Okay, I thought he'd swept it straight to the field and they weren't going to bother running, but they did.
I can tell you that because Foxtel is a ball behind.
Okay. Brook just defends that out square on the offside and there's no run.
I mean, Root's going along, but they're both going along at a very nice run rate. 24 off 36, 26 off 38. There's no problem there.
No. This is it. They're picking the singles and I think that's what you got to do. You just keep rotating the strike. Make the bowlers think. They put in a short cover. That's driven by Brook. Not great pace out to point, no run.
One or two of those Indian pitches last time England were in India, you just could not trust them because anything could happen. But you do begin to sense maybe you can trust this pitch, which makes all the difference.
Yeah. Well, no. Well, Brook is out. He's gone back to cut one. Bugger. And it's been caught behind. And he is walking off, so he's not complaining about that.
Yeah.
Scores his wicket without a doubt.
Yeah, well, he always looked the more likely of the two.
He did.
With his approach to get out here.
No, couldn't really see much, but you never do when they're really thin ones. Anyway, that's annoying. We have to say goodbye to...
The crowd says,
Someone's got to stick there and get some bloody runs. I mean, the ball's only 19 overs old, 20 overs old. Just didn't want to give them anything. There was no real need to play that shot.
It's annoying to get out when you've got your eye in on 26.
Yeah.
Really, for a top class batsman, it's okay to get out, before 10. Really, is that I don't know. It's probably too close to cut. Really.
Yeah, and now out comes the skipper, who's not in the greatest of form. Here we go.
Ben? Ben Stokes.
No, he's not in the best of form. Now would be a good time to find some.
Yeah, it would be. Average of 35.48, high score of 258. Be nice if we got that.
That's South African innings with
Yeah.
best.
Yeah, it was.
His average in Asia is 26.92.
Yeah. Yeah. He's it's not his favourite destination. He's not alone there.
No, absolutely not.
Yeah, big edge. Bit of a silly shot. No need to play that.
Yes, that's right. So yeah,
Better off getting on the front foot and trying to
Yeah.
work the singles. But I guess that's not Brook's way. And
yeah.
C'est la vie.
Stokes is one thing we do know about him. He is capable of. He can be very patient and he doesn't get phased by the match situation.
That can be the case. That one is defended in the offside and there is no run. Does like batting with Root as well. And batting together for a while. So if Root can keep him sane, again, something is possible. England minus 11 for 4 essentially.
I'm not saying. Yeah. Well, let's go.
Yeah, Noman over the wicket to Stokes. Sorry, turns down the leg side. Doesn't even attempt a shot. Maybe that's a mindset that Stokes is in today. Captain's innings. and there is no run. It's just scooted on a little bit off the pitch. It's slightly quicker for Noman. He's been tossing it up, giving it a lot of air and taking the pace off. That one's slightly pushed through a little bit more.
The one that didn't keep low.
Yeah, it didn't really turn a massive amount, didn't bite. Just skidded on a bit.
Yeah, Thandika's with us. He says, morning, hope England are still batting when I wake up. Jamar the Statsman says, what will England make? And Dara Azizi says, going back again. Time to recall Gadding, says Leah. Look at how inept England are against spin.
Well, Root works that one in deep mid-wicket, gets himself a single.
He was a good player against spin, actually, Mike Gatting. He's got a bit of a roly-poly caricature legacy and, the ball of the century stuff. And he only actually had a test average of about 35, but he was a good player of spin.
Now this will be the test. Stokes against Sajid.
Dara Azizi is into heresy here. He says, I'm a born and bred Kent man, but I'm still not convinced by Crawley at this level.
Yeah, fair enough. I don't think any of us are completely convinced.
Sajid bowls that on off stump. Keeps a little low, but Stokes plays it from the crease. A straight bat, and there is no run.
He's a good technical batsman, Stokes.
Yeah, he is very. He's just got to keep his head really here. Gets right forward and defends that, and there's no run.
Probably got the two best technical batsmen in the side at the crease. Whether that does England any good, we shall see.
Well, he's got to think about his innings at Headingley, where he scored 2 in 100 balls, and then the rest the next day.
Absolutely. He's completely capable of long periods of concentration.
Yeah, defending into the offside and there's no run. And what better time than right now?
Ideal. Just having a look at his averages in various countries.
Gets forward, defends that, no run.
I mean, we say he's got a 29 average in Asia. That's only 6 short of his actual average. Although he's a talismanic figure, his actual average is only around 35 or so.
Yeah. It's the important innings he's played at certain times, isn't it? Really.
That's right.
Sajid around the wicket, short and fired in, and Stokes is able to get back and punch that out into the deep, and there is a single to end the over. Takes the strike.
Dara just says, please play forward, fellas. Basic stuff. You're such an optimist, Dara. I love
Ollie Pope played forward. Didn't do him much good.
Yeah,
That's
he played forward and pushed out in front of his pads there, didn't he? You've got to let
That's how you play forward.
You've got to let it come on to the bat rather than push at the ball.
Smother it.
I mean, there is variable spin. It's as much down to the skill of the bowler as what the wicket is offering.
And I can tell you also that India are 21 for no wicket after 2.5 overs, chasing 359. So they're treating it as a 50-over game, I think.
Might not be a bad idea. I mean, India seem to have kind of bought into Bazball a bit, haven't they, really? Noman is reverse swept by Stokes. Is there anyone down there? Oh, there is someone coming around. They should get back for 2, though.
That was so far outside off stump that was probably a justifiable shot.
Yeah, and they seem to prefer the reverse sweep to the sweep these days, don't they?
They do. Yeah.
I think there's a tendency to attribute Bazball as the cause of many things, but I actually think T20 cricket and IPL in particular have had a much bigger impact on.
I think it's all come out of that, hasn't it? And the ability to just hit stupid scores in very short periods of time, and I think, well, why hang around for 120 overs to get 300 when that's out, surely. What the fucking hell is Stokes doing? He's just left the straight ball that's come into him, padded it up, and it's just going straight on to hit the stumps. That's fucking madness from Stokes, for crying out loud, you bloody idiot.
Brain fart.
Oh, fucking hell.
Fuck off! Just fuck off!
Well, who knows what was going on in his head there.
Well, he didn't offer a shot. If he'd have offered a shot, he might have been marginally outside off stump.
No, I don't think he was.
But
I think he might have been.
I think he might have been, but it was just basically going on to hit the stumps, wasn't it?
If he'd have offered the shot, it would have hit the middle of his bat. Is another way of looking at it. Yeah, the only other thing, I know that he's gone off thinking, "What a stupid shot! I'm out." Is it just about possible because he's quite a long way forward that it could have gone over the top? I'm not sure.
It's
kind of possible, but
possible,
the thing is, no one bowls with so little pace that you imagine it would drop back down.
Yeah. Oh well, it could well be that you'll get your viewing all sorted out and in good time here, there.
Yeah. Well, if my theory goes, Jamie Smith scored runs in the first innings. He's not going to score any in the second, so we're in deep doo-doo here.
Yeah, but your theory hasn't held up that well so far, so maybe.
Well, that's true. Let's give him a jingle anyway.
Hey there, Jamie Smith, are you a good keeper or batsman? Either way, all your hopes of getting a game.
And it's true. I mean, I'm getting upset with England here, but you have to give credit to Pakistan, really, don't you?
Oh, yes. Master spinners at work. It's always good to see.
Yep.
People applying their trade with this level of skill. I genuinely, though, don't know what was going on in Stokes' head there.
No,
sometimes you can unravel the thinking process and say, well, it was misjudged, but I saw what he was trying to do. I have no idea what was going through his head. He just
exactly. I mean,
lunged forward and didn't play a shot. The ball turned normally and would have hit the stumps.
Well, exactly. And you got to think, he's facing a left arm over to a left-hander. He should know it's coming into him, not going away, you know. Different. If it had been Sajid, then there might have been an excuse to say, well, it's going to turn away from that line and I don't need to play a shot, even if it's my pad, I can't be out. But if it's turning back into you, that's crazy. Anyway, No Man is going to bowl around the wicket to Jamie Smith, who just drives it up to City, deep set City mid off Hayden. A little bit wide.
By the way,
Hayden.
Bear, would you change at the end of this over? Will has just sent a message saying he's on his way, but he's battling his Wi-Fi at the moment.
Oh Christ, your Wi-Fi's not been good for the last few days, eh? No Man around the wicket to Jamie Smith, gets forward and defends, and there's no run. I mean, what you got to think, I mean, if you're an England fan, you want to think ultra positive, you just need two big scores, don't you?
You do, yeah. And these two guys can do it, and you get a little bit of help from Atkinson, who's fair batsman. But, you know, it's beginning to become a goat track to even the possibility, rather than a road to the possibility of winning here.
Yeah. Jamie Smith right forward defends, and there's no run. What was fucking Stokes thinking? It's actually hit him in line, and it is going on to hit middle and leg.
It is indeed.
That's
as you say, it's because of the top spin, I would imagine, means that the loop keeps coming down rather than up.
James Smith facing up, gets forward and defends, and there is no run.
I was glad to hear Will was battling his Wi-Fi rather than his wife. That way, you know what I mean?
Well, can you just start? I just got to go and make another cup of coffee. I've got to make.
We'll hang on. Yeah, we're good.
We will pick up the slack, no problem at all. So, England, after cruising along with no great alarms for the first 50 minutes of the first hour, lost 2 wickets in a hurry there. And not just any old wickets. Harry Brook, fresh from his 300 a couple of tests ago, cut a ball that was too close to him, realistically, and got a fairly thick edge. Therefore, if it was a thick edge standing up, Mohammed Rizwan took a good catch. He took it well. That was off, I think, Sajid Khan. Off No Man. And then we're in the game for the start of the next over. Joe Root, fortunately, is still there, and he plays a defensive shot to that one dot ball. And then, if you're just joining us, Ben Stokes had a brain fade, lunged forward, forgot to play a shot, and was palpably LBW. You don't have to worry about it being in line if you don't play a shot. That's shot up. Suggestion of bat pad and appeal, but no, straight off the pad. 70 for 5 England, 22.2 overs. They're still trailing by, I think, 7. Yes, by 7. So hopes are beginning to fade a little, it's fair to say, if not a great deal. Bear is making a cup of tea. Will is battling his Wi-Fi, so it's me and Messi for the time being, pro tempore.
hanging in there.
Hanging in there, England's batsman Joe Root comes down the wicket and plays it directly back to Sajid, who sprawls to his right to field. Dot ball. He's in again. Down the wicket again comes Joe Root and manages to negotiate it down to long on. Comes through for the single. And Jamie Smith will be on strike, I think, for the first time to Sajid.
Indeed.
England trailing by 6. Will Jamie Smith hit a 6 to wipe off the deficit, rather like Kapil Dev did all those years ago at Lord's, to overhaul the possibility of following on against Eddie Hemmings, for those with long memories? Probably not, I would suggest. Bad idea.
Not a wise choice, I think.
No, I wouldn't have thought so. Onto the back foot goes Jamie Smith and plays a nice crisp shot. Straight, though, to the man at mid-off, but that looked all in order. Powerfully built man, tall man, Jamie Smith. Down the wicket he comes, smashes it. Lovely cover drive. And will that go all the way? It's been overhauled just in front. Good work there from, I think it was Cameron, the hero, one of the heroes of Multan. And Smith's off the mark with 3. England trail by 3. And at the end of the 23rd over, England 74 for 5.
I'll do a couple of messages before leaving you with Will Bear and Forthy. Ravi Natarajan says England lose series. It could have been a clean sweep 3-0 if Pakistan didn't fuck up the first test. What's the next test series for England? That's against New Zealand, starting the 26th of November. 3-test series. We will be covering that after the white ball series against the West Indies, which we will also be covering. And the next tweet is from Dara Bear. I'll leave you to it.
Got 5 sixes, wasn't it?
These counterfactuals are all very well, but you could say, well, if England hadn't screwed up twice, they'd be 3-0 up. Things are what they are. Hello, Will. You've battled your Wi-Fi.
Hello.
Well,
it's working.
Indeed. It just about, I think, for now.
That's good to hear. Noman Ali, who's sitting proudly on 4 for 28 off his 11 overs, comes round the wicket to the new batsman, Jamie Smith. Oh, goodness me. He lunges forward at that one. It's the classic ball that leaves the right-hander from the leg spinner. Fortunate not to get an edge. Play with soft hands, man. Mohammad Rizwan throws his hands behind his helmet. He's got a lot of sun screen on there. A leg slip is in place. And a man short in on the offside and a slip. Defended by Jamie Smith. Have you managed to catch the action so far, Will?
I've sort of been listening on the radio because I haven't had internet. But yeah, it's I don't know. Well, it's England, isn't it?
It's England.
That is the stoical English supporters lament through the ages. I don't know. What are they doing? Defended by Jamie Smith off the front foot, dot ball.
Yeah, I just don't. I don't know what to say or what to do. It's just sort of.
Oh, mate, there's nothing you can do.
Certainly nothing you can do. Yeah.
You can say a few things, but you can't do anything. And that's cover drive off the back foot by Jamie Smith, as it were, but smothered in the covers, so no runs there. Just having a look at that ball that very nearly got Jamie Smith first up. And, you know, it's legitimate to get out to a really good leg spinning delivery. It was not legitimate to get out the way Ben Stokes did. That's defended by Jamie Smith, dot ball.
And it was a bit rash the way that Harry Brook. I mean, you could say that Harry Brook's gone back and he's cut a couple of those, but he's also missed one narrowly a couple of overs before. It's quite a high risk shot on a pitch where the bounce is a little bit inconsistent.
He was playing high risk cricket.
Yeah,
it was inappropriate. Granted, what England needed to do in the first hour, you would say. I mean, he got a few runs, but he only got 28 of them. That's not enough. That's defended by Jamie Smith, and again, as we know with Smith, he's happy to play himself in. End of the 24th, England 74 for 5, still trailing by 3.
Well, Dara says you don't have to be a detective to see that we need a different approach against the spin. Yeah, well, the thing is, Dara, our old approach against spin was no better than our new approach against spin. It still resulted in losses, and I would actually posit that we get more runs being positive than we do being negative. And the fact is that we aren't very good against decent spinning attacks. Not that unsurprising when you think that we don't have many good spinners in the country, and the wickets don't really allow for it. Over to you, 40.
Root reverse sweeps the first ball from Sajid's 12th over and gets a single for it, and that puts Smith back on strike. Yeah, well, I think that you've summed it up very well there, Bear. I mean, Australia struggle when they go to the subcontinent as well. It's not just England, not necessarily used to.
Well, there's a lot, South Africa generally do as well. All the sort of Western Hemisphere pace bowling places tend to, don't they?
It's a hard skill to master, playing really great spin bowling, and Sajid Khan and No Man will be a cut above nearly all the players that England players usually face. In comes Sajid Khan again. Down the wicket comes Jamie Smith, but pulls out of the big shot and just defends it, seeing that Sajid had probably dropped it a little shorter.
And there's that thing of, at least with this approach,
that was nibbled at by Smith, but didn't get a touch. Yeah, carry on, Will.
At least it's entertaining. Do you know what I mean? At least it is positive, and
I do know what you mean. Yeah.
So if you're going to be bad, you might as well have fun and be bad.
Well, they're probably not having, for goodness sake. Down the wicket comes Jamie Smith. All thoughts of patience out the window, and somewhat predictably, Sajid saw him coming, just dropped it a little bit short. It went between bat and pad. Smith is out for 3. England are 75 for 6, still trailing by 2.
Oh, I'm going to shut GPL when another wicket goes down. That was poor. That was good bowling by Sajid, though. You look at the speed of that. It was 75 kilometres an hour. He saw him coming and just took all the pace off it. Beat him in a flight. Threw his shot. Never got to the pitch. Yeah. I mean, we go back to this again anyway. Let's give him a send-off. What are we going to... Yeah, you flipping muppet.
You flipping muppet.
The thing with that shot is, if
carry on,
Sajid Khan sees him coming and drops it short, and Jamie Smith realises that Sajid Khan's seen him coming and drops it short, you don't have to carry on and play the extra. Just defend it, because it's not there to be hit. Well, don't go through with the shot. He did, and he's out.
Yeah, I mean, this goes back to, the Bazball series that England played in India at the beginning of this year was a good series, and I think England were probably they won 1 and were in 2 of the others. They got flattened, absolutely thrashed in 2, but they had chances in other games. And that was down to this approach. So you got to say, in general, I'd rather this approach than not. I guess this test, I feel, just because the situation we had them in yesterday lunchtime, I think we kind of let this go. We should have probably had a 30-40 first innings run lead instead of being 77 behind, and I think that's just upset the apple cart a bit.
Gus Atkinson defends that first ball okay. I think, unfortunately, he'll probably keep the strike, which is not ideal for England.
No.
The scores are level in the match, but Pakistan have still got an innings to go, and England have only got 4 wickets left in their second innings, so they're 76 for 6. Bear, anyone writing in?
Yeah, Desmond Ray says, remember I told you that England is not good. England are fine, they're just not good in certain places. And to be fair, Pakistan have discovered what they should do at home, which is what India do and what Sri Lanka and Bangladesh do. Create turning wickets, which is like kryptonite to English players. And that's fair enough, they're at home. You wish England would do better, but hey.
It's not like England have ever been good in Pakistan.
Well, they've had the odd good series, but this is a very high level quality of spin bowling they've been facing here.
Atkinson
Defended by Atkinson, out onto the offside, no run. However, all that said, there has been some muddle thinking. I mean,
Yeah.
I was almost joking that Smith was going to smear a 6 early on. And that's exactly what he tried. It's a stupid shot, really.
Well,
I know that the results are where you always say it was a stupid shot when he's out. I get that. But he was outthought so badly by Sajid Khan there.
Yeah.
And what does Root say to Atkinson? You just play a plodding game, mate. Let me do the work.
Yeah, let's accumulate and see where we get to. This is not a time to throw caution to the wind. Atkinson has got a decent defence. He's a decent batsman. He's decent number 8. He's not a
He's
great
got a test ton.
He's got a test ton. Played round the corner by by Atkinson. So that's quite a nice little shot. I think they'll come back for 2.
We're in the lead.
Now
Yay!
We're 1 for 6.
1 for 6, which is more than West Australia managed yesterday in their match against Tasmania when they lost 8 wickets for 1 run, and that was a wide.
Wow.
Wow.
We're better than West Australia.
Yeah. round the wicket comes No Man. Big forward defence from Atkinson. If West Australia was a country, geographically speaking, in terms of acreage, I think it would be the 6th biggest country in the world. It's massive, West Australia.
Yeah.
I was going to say it's huge, isn't it? Has it got a bigger population than Britain?
No.
No, absolutely not. Oh, and that's a beautiful ball from No Man. Too good for anyone. What a ball!
Is it one of
was.
those?
It must be
Oh,
one
so
of the
it's
most
one of those
sparsely
places that's
populated
like
in the world. I'd have thought.
massive,
Below
but
land
sort
mass.
of
There's like 1.5 million people in Perth, or maybe 2 million, and then there's a few others scattered around Darwin and Cairns and Albany and Exmouth and 1 or 2 other places. Catherine, defended by Atkinson, dot ball. I don't know what the population is, maybe 3 or 4 million in West Australia.
Oh right,
and
so it's one of those
60 million.
places where there's sort of 1 person every sort of 10 miles or something.
Yeah. I mean, they say about Perth that you're either 10 minutes or 10 hours away from anywhere in Perth. There's nothing else between Perth. Perth is the single most isolated, decent-sized city in the world. I mean, you've got to go over the Nullarbor Plain, which takes two days to drive over without stopping before you get to civilization again.
Crazy.
That's Australia. That's Australia.
Yeah, I mean, the population of Australia as a whole is only about 20 million now? 22 million?
Nearly up to 25 million now.
Okay.
Once you get to the southeast bit, it's as civilized as anywhere else on the planet. Melbourne and Sydney are very civilized cities, but that's quite different from the rest of Australia.
Yeah, you've got Adelaide, Melbourne, Sydney, really, haven't you? Canberra in the middle.
Adelaide, and there's Brisbane as well, and then you got Perth over on the west coast. Proud and alone. Right. Sajid showing no signs of tiring here into his 13th over. How tired do your fingers get bare as a spinner as time goes on?
The longest spell I ever bowled was 26 overs. And I was still kind of okay at the end of it,
Okay.
but starting to get tired.
You bowl, Will?
Not spin. I was sort of always pace.
Okay. Or defensive from top ball?
Yeah, I was kind of. What's the longest spell I bowled? I think I did like 10 or 11 in a row once.
Yeah. That's quite a lot for a pace guy. In comes Sajid again. Root plonks his front foot forward and waits to see what the ball does. Defends it.
I was knackered.
Good description, yes. Sajid in again. Reverse sweep. Successfully executed, but straight to the man at point. Top ball. He's 27 off 45. He's 27 off 45 route, and he's just drawn his horns in, so to speak.
Yeah.
I think he was 27 off 36 or something. He's going to reverse sweep that one, but he reverse sweeps it from almost outside leg stump, and then it comes through, and I think hits Mohammed Rizwan directly in the chest.
He fired that one in, didn't he? I mean, that was a much quicker delivery.
That was weird. It just, what a weird choice.
Yeah, I just kept, just kept leaving him, didn't it? He would not played that shot again had he known what the ball was going to do. It's a little bit premeditated. Down the wicket comes Root. Ooh. So there, he squeezed it out to the man at short leg. Short leg saw the opportunity because Root was 3 yards out of his crease to try and flick it back at the wicket. Root lunged back and just to got back in time, even had he hit, which he didn't, I don't think.
Ooh, that was close.
I love that there are kind of universal English cricket noises, like ooh. And everyone
I think everyone has them, don't they?
Yeah.
Swept from outside off stump, so probably the right choice if you are going to sweep on this wicket. Round the corner to deep square leg. They'll come through for a single. England piling on the advantage here. I think they're up to 3 now. That's the end of the over.
Right. Lockie 6 says, "Where is Kermit? This is the Muppet Show, right?" Yeah. Well, Brian says, "Morning all. The problem is England have gone from positive thoughts, and this is quite. I kind of agree here with Brian. He says, "Morning all. But the problem is England have gone from positive thoughts and playing to who gives a shit. There is a bit of that, isn't there? It's like it doesn't really matter if we lose."
Yeah.
I don't know. You'd hope not.
You'd hope not, but it kind of feels a bit like it.
A little bit of that.
A little bit sort of fatalistic. We can't,
yes.
You know.
Yes, it's a little bit of a shrug and okay, I'm out of here. I suppose it's the last day of the tour, most likely. So you'd hope on a 3-test tour with the match, the series still in the balance, that thought process wouldn't apply.
Well, maybe after this ball.
No man. In again, round the wicket to Root, who reverse sweeps. Almost straight into the hands of the man at leg slip. Dives, can't get a hand on it. And they come through for a couple at least. Yes, Bear?
Well, I mean, the pace of the amount of games that England are playing between now and Christmas is quite mad. I mean, if you include the one-day internationals, they're playing 6 tests and 8 white ball games between 7th of October and the 22nd of December, which is slightly less than 3 months. And there is something to be said, well, there's always another game around the corner. It's almost like one-day cricket where you go, well, we lost this one, we'll win the next one. It doesn't really matter.
Yeah. And that's a nice cover drive from Joe Root out to the sweeper on the offside. They'll just come through for one. I must say, I can remember quite clearly the test series from when I was young. I find it much more difficult. There's so many of them now for England. I find it very difficult to remember, with the exception of the Ashes, who we played when now recently.
Yeah, I agree.
And that's partly my, aging mind as well. No man round the wickets to, oh, goodness me. Props forward, Atkinson. I think got an edge. I think it didn't carry to first slip.
I think it just dropped short. It's very close.
Apparently, over half of all Test cricket has been played in the last 20 years or something.
Yeah, there's something like that, isn't it?
Yeah, it's something since 2000. It's been crazy. I mean, this is it. On average, England are playing 17, 18 Test matches a year. I mean, there was one year they played like 21.
That's crazy.
Which is mad.
It is mad. And I mean, even India and Australia play sort of, maximum 2/3 of that.
A second slip has gone in, and Atkinson is facing. He manages to get it out through a bit of a gap where perhaps that second slip would have been, so they come through for a single.
It's quite a strange shot. Forced off the back foot. Oh, they played it aerially out through the covers.
It was a bit odd, wasn't it?
Yeah.
It's a weird one.
There's some weird shit going as George Bush said about Donald Trump's speech when he accepted the presidency, that was some weird shit. And there's some weird shit going on this morning from England. Root's back on strike. He has been the exception, and he sweeps that one very nicely down to long leg. And I'll come through for at least one and possibly two.
I see
Do you think it's...
I see that Bezos at the Washington Post has banned them from endorsing a candidate.
Yeah, that's correct. They've said we're going to sit on the fence on this one.
And apparently some of the editorial are all threatening to quit.
I'm not surprised. That's the spineless display.
It is an absolutely spineless chicken shit.
Yes. That's a beautiful, beautiful ball. It snuck the outside edge of Joe Root's bat. The last hope for England getting anything out of this match
was a good ball.
Just departed the field. It was a beautiful delivery. No shame in getting out to that one. Root's out for 33. England are 85 for, I take it, 7.
Yeah, they are indeed.
Yeah.
And we're not going to be here very long. Hendo's supposed to be in at 9 o'clock. I don't think he's going to be here. Well, let's give him a send off.
I won't look back, 'cause by the time that I do, you'll be gone.
Yeah, Joe Root's going back correctly with a sort of glum look on his face. But I don't know what you thought, Will, to that one. But the sort of ball that can get even a top class batsman out.
Yeah, I mean, it was a really good ball. It just so happens that Joe Root is the best player of spin in the England team, and he's the last hope.
Yeah.
I mean, I've got another shift at 7:30, I think. I don't think I'll have to do it.
You may not have to. I mean, that you got to say that was a good ball. He held the pace back a bit. He held the ball and the length back a little bit. Drew Root forward, and it just turned enough. He couldn't get to smother the pitch of the ball. Couldn't get to the pitch of the ball, and was sort of therefore in no man's land. It turned enough, caught the edge. That's a classic left armer's delivery on a turning wicket. He's got it just right, and it's taken the edge. I don't think you can really fault Joe Root there. I think that's just bloody good bowling, to be honest.
Totally agree. Of course, one of the paradoxes of cricket is probably to Gus Atkinson that wouldn't have been out because he wouldn't have got close enough to it. But that's cricket.
Well, indeed. So now we've got Ryan Ahmed and Gus Atkinson. Here we go. Ryan's jingle.
His mission from the original squad was to guard Ryan Ahmed from dubious jingles.
Well, I was rather looking forward to John and Hendo in tandem this afternoon. For their view, but I don't think we'll get that far.
Doesn't look like it.
The glorious pessimism black hole.
It would have been quite something.
Well, this is what we all thought was possible this morning, but I was hoping wasn't going to happen, and it has happened. I don't think there's that many demons in this pitch that necessitate 85 for 7. I think there's as much psychological damage done by Pakistan getting a 70-run lead yesterday as anything else.
Yeah. I think 85 for 3 on this pitch would be about right, not 85 for 7.
Yeah. And losing 3 wickets in 9 overs last night was a disaster.
That was crazy.
Well. To be fair, 2 of those balls didn't turn. I mean, they went straight on the 2 LBWs to Crawley and Duckett. Some of the very few balls, just scooted straight on, didn't turn, and they played for a little bit of turn, played outside the line of both those balls. Pope looks hopelessly out of touch here.
I think the thing is, we talk a lot about Bazball, which is a strategy and an interesting one, but there's also technique and tactics in cricket. And I think England's technique has been found wanting, and I think their tactics here have been found wanting as well. And you can't ignore those two things.
No. And to be fair, as we were talking about, England won 4 tests on the bounce in Pakistan, 3-0 in the last time. And let's face it, when England won series last time. It's the first time, well, admittedly they haven't played in Pakistan for years, but I mean, that was only the third test they'd ever won in Pakistan.
Yeah, that's right. Swept by Atkinson, way outside off stump, so reasonably safe to do so. Out to the sweeper on the leg side. They'll come through for, I think, just the single. So Rayan Ahmed is on strike. Have we jingled him?
Yeah, I just did, yeah.
Sorry, yeah. Can't always hear them.
And I don't know, it's weird. I mean, they've been really stressing that last series was an outlier.
In comes Sajid again. Defended. Just drops it at his toes by Rehan. Yes, Phil?
Yeah, like all the pre-tour press was Brendan McCullum just sort of saying, yeah, no one saw that coming.
Played off the back foot by Rayan Ahmed. How much longer will this last today? We shall see. Played out to mid-wicket, dot ball.
It's a weird one. I don't know whether should you.
Sajid in again. Defended by Rayan Ahmed. Fine, no problem. Go, Will.
Should you stop kind of punishing county sides for preparing pitches that are for spin?
Hut by Rayan Ahmed. Not as square as he anticipated. It's actually sort of gone out to the man at mid-off, which I don't think was where he was intending that to go, but he's off the mark with a single.
I think he hit the man at City Point, didn't he?
Was that what happened? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, I see what happened. Right.
Messrs is going to hate me. I'm so far behind on socials.
Reverse sweep time from Atkinson all along the ground, and the man at slip fails to gather it in, and it's gone all the way for one of these.
We're going to have a switcheroo now, I guess. End of the over makes sense. I'm gonna hand you over with this one, Messi, which is from Dara Azizi, because I like this one. He says, at least I have a Liverpool win over the Gooners to look forward to. I'm with you, Dara, but don't speak too soon, mate. Don't talk too soon. I'm expecting so, with all the injuries that Arsenal have. It's looking good, but you never know. And with that, I'm going to hand over to Jason in here. Messrs is coming back. 40, you're staying there?
Yeah, I'll stay here.
See you later.
Thanks, Will. So, while we just wait Jason to take the seat, it's been a pretty disastrous morning so far. The first hour and a half or so by England. They have lost 4 wickets. They have scampered to a 14-run lead, but no more than that, so they're effectively 14 for 7. With all their premium batsmen back in the hutch, this Test match is as good as extinct.
It is,
and
unfortunately.
Jason.
No man to continue. They did destroy in principle in this innings. He first ball was a dot ball, or was that just a repeat?
No, it was a dot ball. You're absolutely right, Jace. Yeah.
Yes, kind of the writing was on the wall from the start of the game. That's another ball that's defended into the offside by Rayan Ahmed. Losing 3 quick wickets last night probably knocked the stuffing out of England, and they haven't been anywhere near the pace today. Root probably accepted, and he got a good one.
Yeah, I was going to say exactly that. I don't think any blame attributes to Root for anyone can get out to that shot, and probably should get a touch on that.
Yeah, punched up to mid-on and no run again by Rayan. And No Man has just been a masterclass in left arm orthodox bowling. Slightly quicker by No Man, and that's again clipped quite firmly off his pads, straight to short leg, but on the ground. I am surprised that they aren't attacking a bit more now, and they have brought in an extra person for Rayan. There's a slip, a short leg, and a leg slip.
Yeah.
Oh, and 2 slips now actually for Rayan, and that's pushed up and just lent on very gently by Rayan out to the man coming in from the boundary. long off, sorry, and he walks a single. England
Having a look at that in the crowd, who's got one of those visual reality things on his head, and whatever reality he's looking at is going to be
an alternate reality where England are 300 ahead.
Yes, I think that's probably what he's looking at. We could all do some of that.
And now they're deploying a short cover, a short mid off for Atkinson. That's short and played off the back foot and whipped to mid wicket, but can't beat the man. That's the end of the over. England are in a parlous position at 92 for 7. Rayan's got 2, Atkinson's got 9. No man has been destroyed in principle with 5 for 37. Messi.
You're on mute.
Sorry about that. A certain amount of correction of geographical information that you may have disseminated slightly incorrectly, 40. Catherine and Darwin, of course, being in the Northern Territory rather than...
Oh, yes, they are as well. They are as well, I forgot that.
The population of WA is 2.9 million, 1.14 people per square kilometre compared to 279 per square kilometre in England, to give you a point of reference.
And Shadid is going to continue. He whirling, bustling action. That's dropped on the length, and Rehan just props forward and knocks it into the ground.
I think I got that second bit about right. Well, I did put Catherine and Darwin in the wrong stroke territory.
Aggressive from Rehan. That's short by Sajid, and he rocks onto the back foot and smashes that to the man at the square leg boundary, who does a good job stopping a 4, but I don't think can stop the extra run, and Rehan gets 2.
I find that I'm a terrible hypocrite. Here we go.
Okay.
I find I'm a terrible hypocrite, to be honest, because I'll latch on to somebody's, tiny grammatical mistake, but they play very fast and loose with lots of other things, which I would airy wave of the hand. I say, well, it doesn't really matter.
Well, pedantry has all sort kinds of forms and variants, and that's short, but Ahmed can't get the cut shot away, and it just goes over the top of his flashing blade, and Rizwan takes a good catch, but there's no edge. Sajid to continue, turns sharply into the leg side, and Rayan just bunts that behind square. They go for the 2. Eventually, after some negotiation, Rayan completes the 2 quite easily. Atkinson was a little less sure of the value of the 2.
These 2 are not total mugs in county cricket with the bat, are they?
No. And last ball, that's flatter and fuller and faster and defended. Atkinson's got, apart from his test ton, he's got a couple of other 50s. Rayan's got, I think, 3 50s in county cricket. So they're no mugs. They're more.
The funny thing is, when Pakistan lost their 7th wicket, they England were very much in the ascendancy 24 hours ago. Well,
yes.
England have just lost their 7th wicket, but it's kind of the other thing that Pakistan had was Saud Shakil at the crease to marshal the tail,
and a tail that actually played for him rather than played to his strengths.
Yes.
Yeah. Just in terms of fast and loose, the population of Australia 40 is about 27.2 million now.
Well, I said about 25. I was right.
You said about 23.
No, I said it's about 25 million. It is about 25 million. It's 27 million. Just rounded up a bit.
It's more than double since I got here, so I've done my work.
Well done.
Atkinson throws his hands at the first ball from no man and misses it. Bit of a flat-footed shot with no footwork, but he gets away with that one. No one in again, and that's studiously defended by Atkinson, who gives out the English textbook defence.
MCC manual, and there it was.
By the way, India are 81 for 1 at lunch after 12 overs, which is really interesting.
That match is beginning to get interesting.
Yep. Shorter, played off the back foot by Atkinson, but just dribbles out into the the point man, who is I think the man who was previously at short leg, because he's got the leg guards on, which looks very odd.
I was going to say, you can tell that by his shin pads. England lead by 19.
No man in again, just picking away, and that's short. And can he beat the man? Yes, he can beat the man at mid wicket. So that'll be a single to Atkinson as he punched that one off the back foot.
There's an Atkinson in the Jennings and Derbyshire books by Anthony Buckingham. One of the school children is an Atkinson. Yes. They're very good books, actually. They still stand up quite well.
Rayan to face. Very pensive Stokes with his feet up on the balcony. And that's defended by Rayan, who's not really eschewed, apart from that one big smack to leg, any aggression so far.
One thing you won't find is a Rayan Ahmed in the Jennings and Derbyshire books. It's a fiercely white regime.
Yes. No man completely over. That's short and turns sharply, but Rayan backs away and hits it over the top of it, basically gets it on the bottom. And there's no power in the shot, and that's the end of the over.
Oh dear. I'm sorry about this, Forthy, but Brown is concerned about your slapdash efforts. He says, if Forthy has Aussie citizenship, we might have to review that due to his geographical errors.
I tell you what, when I took my test, citizenship test, I, unlike the rest of my family, got 20 out of 20.
Well done.
My wife got 19 out of 20, which I can continue to remind her I'm a better citizen than you are.
Well, a lot of Australians would never get anything like that, I'm sure.
Yep.
They're quite hard. Hang on.
And Sajid has done Atkinson there. That's slightly faster by Sajid, and Atkinson has gone for the whip and played over and around it, and that's taken the top of off stump out. Atkinson leads for 10 or 17, and England fall further into the hole.
Another one bites the dust. I think that is going to be out, Fred. Another one bites the dust.
And
yeah, left a gap between bat and pad there, and it just came back sufficiently. And on your way, mate.
Yeah, that was I think what you'd say there is he went forward about a half step or three-quarters of a step, and rather than the full stride. Had he got the full stride in, I think he would have covered that quite comfortably.
Yes, he was neither one thing nor the other. Neither fish nor fowl, caught between two stools. And anyway, he's out, so we're just hurrying things along here now.
A bit of a Cunis, really.
Yes, for those who know the reference.
I was saying nothing, just incriminate myself.
Mark Splinter says, if this game finishes early, you can commentate the finish of the India-New Zealand test.
I should go and have a sleep.
Well, I'll definitely be watching that. Look, that looks like being absolutely fascinating.
I'll go and plant some Daphnes, I think.
Poor old Daphne.
Yes, yes, I was going to say that.
Leah says, once again, if anyone here would be up for the Border Gavaskar Trophy commentary watch along, send me a message. Carl Herbert says, just joined from lunch in Pune. Anything happened in this game? Well, England's only lost 5 wickets today for, what's that, about 70-something runs?
Yes. This is what we feared might happen and hoped wouldn't.
We're going to finish in 2.5 days instead of 3 at this rate.
And to be fair, I don't think the pitch has been playing any serious tricks at all.
No, it hasn't. It's absolutely correct. It's been playing low, but it's been playing consistently low, as we were saying earlier. It's not been up and down. It's just been down, and you should be able to work that out. There's just 2 high-quality spin bowlers who England can't deal with right now.
Leach's first ball is driven to cover. His second is defended studiously with his presumably still sponsored glasses.
Studiously is very much the adverb for Jack Leach when you look at him.
and he goes for a reverse sweep, or reverse swat actually, and beats the man at point. That's going to go to the boundary.
1, 2, 3, 4.
I think
That's the Gary Naylor's school of complaints that things are described as sweeps when they're nothing more than swats.
Has Gary got a school of complaints? You surprise me.
It's a university, actually.
Yes,
Sorry.
yes, quite. I don't. No, we're off again.
Full
I don't
out.
associate Jack Leach with the reverse sweep. Not that it really matters at this stage of proceedings.
It's a new occurrence, I think. That was Fuller and flighted for the following up ball and defended. And now, Leach has definitely come out to have a fun time, I think. There's nothing else he can do. Driven through the offside, past the man at Sinimid off, who's just come in. And this could be close here. They go for 3. I think a better throw, and the fact that Rizwan is a small man and had to stretch for that one, might have caught Rehan out. I'm not sure he heard the call from Leach. We'll have a
I think that it's in no one's real interest for that to be out. Obviously not the English, but Sajid Khan doesn't want one of his potential wickets taken away from him with a run out. He wants to get another wicket on the column.
Yes, definite hesitation by Rehan. Partially understandable because he and Leach did get themselves in a bit of a...
They almost collided
in the first run, and they weren't exactly sprinting the runs.
End of the over. Anything happening, Messi?
On the subject of citizenship tests, Brian in Brisbane says the life in the UK test is 53 questions about all things going way back. I can't remember what happened last week, let alone in 2000 BC.
I had a look at that citizenship test. It's bloody tricky.
Yep, it is. No man in again, and slog swept by Leach out to the man on the mid-wicket boundary, and then we'll get a single.
It's got things like, is the Isle of Man a province or a crown protectorate? What?
Fucking bullshit. How many English people would know the answer to that?
Quite. I mean, that may not be the exact question, but that's the flavour of what you can expect.
That's crap.
Floated temptingly by no man, but Rehan just leans on that and glides it into the offside for no run.
It'd be interesting if you set a test like that for all English people before they're allowed to vote, wouldn't it?
I would. Don't get me started. I would set a test for everybody before they should vote. Why should you just turn up and put your vote in?
Same for having children, to be honest.
Angled in, defended, no run.
Yeah. Well, there's not much you can do about people having children. That just happens. But you could do something about people voting.
Well, certainly Americans and Trump springs to mind as well.
No, quite.
Don't let's go there.
Off the back foot, punched out past the cover. Sean, I believe it is, who fields it and then misfields it and then has to go and pick it up.
Only really upsets me when I read the news. I'm just going to stop reading the news because that's the only time Trump upsets me.
Good strategy.
No man to Leach. Down the wicket. Essays a huge hoik into the leg side, but doesn't get it in, just cannons off his front pad into the area, going nowhere.
And Mohammed Rizwan comes from behind the stumps and gives
him a hug.
Affectionate pat on the back, which was rather nice. Better luck next time, mate.
What can we do this time? It's another floated up ball. Leach tries to, but it's into the block hole and past him really before he knows much about it.
Mohammed Rizwan back-heeled it, football style, towards the stumps. There's a slight end-of-term feeling descended upon proceedings.
Anthony King, in response to the original tweet sent out saying, can England stage a miraculous recovery, said, front-running teams don't fight back, they find excuses. Yeah, well. And Brown in Brisbane says, speaking of voting. How was the Queensland election today? Well, it's still on. The polls will close in about 2 hours' time.
You exercise your democratic right, Messi?
Well, I'm not in Queensland, so I won't vote. I mean, I've said before, my vote would be to cut Queensland off from the rest of Australia and let them go their own way.
Turning sharply in by Sajid, first ball to Rehan, defended it to short leg, no run.
Those great Queensland batsmen over the years, Greg Ritchie.
Oh my word. And Rehan has tried to paddle sweep that very gently. Fine, he's hit it so fine in fact that it's hit the stumps.
So what's the lead now? 29, is
29. 29 in answer to your question, Messi. That is 4 wickets for Sajid.
That's 10 for the match, I do believe.
Now, all of the wickets will have gone to spin. Is that right? Again?
Yes, yes.
So that will be 4 innings in a row in which all of the innings by a test team will be from spinners. And I think that will be a new record.
Yeah, it'll be 39 to, if the current bowlers take the final wicket, it'll be 39 to Sajid and Noman, and 1 to Zaid Mahmood.
Well, when they got 3 in a row of 10 wickets to the spinners in the last 3 innings, that only happened twice before. So I can only assume this will be a record. I mean, it's maybe not one of the more spectacular or even interesting records in Test match cricket history, but it is nonetheless a record.
Indeed. So Sajid's now got 10 for the game so far, hasn't he?
Yep. Which is why he was...
He got to... Oh, unfortunately, Zafir got a wicket in the first one, so there's no possibility opening up for 10 each as there was last time.
Yeah. Bastard. How selfish was that?
That would have been a first as well.
Stephen Kelk says, just woken up. Oh, for fuck's sake.
And you're surprised how?
Is Stephen, just to tell us, are you English or Dutch? Are you a Dutchman?
I'm sure Stephen is English. I'm absolutely convinced by his turn of phrase.
Well, the Dutch
brings Bashir to the crease. I shall give him his jingle because we probably won't get much of him batting.
Bashir likes to attack. Bashir now in an England cap.
And the first ball is outside off stump and driven by Bashir up to mid off, no run.
Kelk is sounds a bit.
There you go. He's sitting on the fence along with Zuckerberg. Says I am English and Dutch.
No, there you are.
Originally from the People's Republic of Preston.
Second ball is pushed out into the offside and Bashir gets off the mark. Looking back at that,
like you're English and Australian, 40. Yes,
that is true. That's very true.
So am I. Yeah.
My wife is Nigerian. Well,
right.
she was born in Nigeria and lived there for 2 years.
Sajid to Leach. That's defended by Leach. I should imagine there's going to be some crowding of the bat now, although oddly not initially for Bashir. There's 2 slips in there. And that's it. Leach has attempted a reverse sweep, missed the ball, and that's taken off stump.
That's it? I don't think it was wicket. I don't think it's hit the
no. They're having a little conference. I think perhaps what happened was Mohammed Rizwan, just flicked the bails off just on the off chance, but I don't think it was bowled. So it's still 107 for 9 at the end of the 35th, Messi.
Oh, be still my little...
confusing me here with all these false actions.
Eternal.
We're up to date on messages at the moment.
Very good, very good.
I think a little like the crowd here, it's not a lot to draw people in today.
Well, a Pakistan victory in a series is something. I mean, if England were about to win a series for the first time for God knows how long against Australia, there'd be a few people coming through the door.
Yes, that's for sure.
Anyway, no man to continue with 2 slips and a short and a silly point. And here comes out the reverse sweeps. They're all coming out now. He's got good contact with that, but he's not going to get to the boundary. They're going to get 2.
Joe Bashir looks like he doesn't spend a lot of time in the gym. I mean, he's not, by any normal human standards, he's got a perfectly adequate physique. But when you see some of these guys come out, they're just rippling. He's just got.
Well, he looks tall and spindly.
He
No
doesn't
man.
have the body type, does he?
Got an old-fashioned spinner's body.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's defended off his pad. I mean, the one he reminds me of when you look at him, because he's got the height to it, is probably Ravi Shastri.
Yes, that is true. Anil Kumble was a tall bowler as well, but didn't bowl quite in the same manner.
That's into the block hole and defended, back to the bowler.
Ravi Shastri still to be found plying his trade in the commentary box.
We haven't heard from the Shastri bot for a while.
No.
It seems to have gone dormant. And that's a lovely bit of left arm bowling, tempting Bashir. Bashir sort of pushes at it and it spins sharply away.
Ravi Shastri was actually the last wicket in that tied test, wasn't he? He's the last man to get out. Rather controversially, he probably wasn't out, but I think the umpire wanted to be part of history, so just shot his finger up.
The second tied test, you mean, in 84-ish?
The second 87, I think it was, wasn't it? After the Brisbane in 1960, was it?
And one spinner to another, he recognises that one's going to turn and leaves it, and it does turn, but not as much as he would have thought. There's no run.
Nearly got a tied test at Headingley in 2019. Nearly got a tied one. Yeah, it'd be one or two close shaves.
That's a good leave again by Bashir. He's got a good eye for the ball at the moment. That one's flirting with the off stump, shall we say?
Flirting, yes. It was a. Yeah, he left it well. That's fine. That's fine. It's good leave.
End of the over.
Jong Jinar says, please cover the BGT, it would be juicy. And Stephen Kelk says, risk for Sun City. What is BGT? It's not Britain's Got Talent, it's the Border Gavaskar Trophy. Leah is actually planning to do a watch-along / commentary on her channel, so if you're interested, go to her channel during that.
Sajid ran the wicket to Leach. Leach backs away, cuts, and gets a single to the man on the boundary.
Sounds rather like one of those Roald Dahl books, like Big Green Triceratops, something, the BGT.
Dave Wood says, so does baseball work in Asia?
I don't think you're going to attack in quite the same way, let's put it that way.
It worked in Rawalpindi 2 years ago. Sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't.
Oh, that's full and straight and given. Big appeal. And I imagine there's going to be a review. Yes, there is, because why not? But I don't see that missing leg stump. That was low down, looked to be hitting on the back pad.
I would think
with
that's
a failed sweep.
I would think that's probably hitting the top of the leg at worst. Umpire's call. We shall see.
And if true, it'll mean that Sajid has shared the wickets. 5 each. Yeah, that doesn't look good.
That might be middle stump, actually, looking at it again.
Yeah. There's the critical point, and it's well past the bat now. It's hitting the pad.
Hits the back pad, and it hits it pretty well in line, you would think. We shall see.
Oh, he's outside off, and he's playing the shot.
Well. It's outside by a millimetre. The match continues.
Whoa.
And I think there was quite annoyed grab of the grass by Sajid as he walked past the umpire.
Yes, back to facts, mate. Sorry.
So England survived. That's a good review.
if not an inevitable one, when you've still got two in your back pocket and
Yes.
you're 9 wickets down.
And instead of trying to swat that one out of existence and like the last ball, Bashir just leads forward and defends it to the short mid on.
He does look a bit cross now, Sajid. He thought he had his fifer.
And that's quicker and flatter, and Bashir just gets his bat down in time on that, and it scuttles away to the leg side behind square, and he wanders down the other end and avoids but Sajid, I think.
He's still looking furious.
He's got into wild-eyed mode, hasn't he?
Yes, googly-eyed mode. Piratical googly-eyed mode. It didn't actually hit the front of the pad, it hit the edge of the pad, which that's what confused us. So and some England supporters delighted by that turn of events.
And flatter and quicker to Leach. Leach plays off the back foot and nurdles it. And
nurdle.
Well, England did by 35 runs. I mean,
I was about to ask you whether you were going to be playing later today, Jason. I remembered it was October the 26th. So
no, I think it might be a bit wet underfoot.
My twins have registered their half-century partnership today. They're both 25 as of today.
Oh wow! How old do you feel?
I feel fine. I feel better than I did about 20 years ago when they were all three of them were under 5. I felt fucking exhausted then. I feel fine.
Yes. That's the last ball of the over, defended by Bashir. England 112 for 9. Sorry. Lead by 35, and no, the torture continues for now.
So, just an interesting stat for you. There have been 5 successful DRS reviews in this match. All of them by Shafadullah. Chris Gaffney hasn't been overturned once.
He's a good umpire, Gaffney.
Yeah. That's going to be a slight blot on Shafadullah's cotton book, I'd say. Brian in Brisbane has sent us a super chat. $5. No time to get breakfast delivered this morning, so just the super chat. Thank you so much, Brian.
Thank you, Brian.
No, that's very nice. Thank you, Brian.
At the conclusion of this game, I should go and have a proper one in Crystal Palace. Right, here we go.
Stephen Kelk says, "Okay, England, well done. Glad that this crucial part of the Ashes preparation has gone to plan."
It's not much. Going to Pakistan does not. One thing it doesn't do is prepare you for a series in Australia.
No.
That was tried to be stretched by Leach. First ball, missed that. Went scuttled through to the keeper, and Leach tries to sweep him again. No man saw him. Fired it wide. It would have been a wide in any other form. And
it was a wide. It was a wide.
And
I'd say it was a wide. Yeah.
And takes the bails off, and Leach is short of his ground. That is the end of the innings. I'm not sure why they put a DRS on it. I think.
It's an umpire's review.
Yeah. I think we're assuming it's all over, but
well, Leach looked very slow on turning, so I think that's a really good shot. I mean, good work by Rizwan, who, very good work by Rizwan, who was very wide.
Yeah, very good, very good. I mean, he could see it very clearly. He could see what Noah was trying to do, which was, in fact, in bowler wide. You don't often see that, do you? Stumped off a wide. It doesn't often happen, in effect, but did on this occasion. I think that the only question mark there, perhaps, was whether Mohammed Rizwan had slightly overreached and knocked the bails off with his forearm rather than the glove, but he hadn't, and it's all over as far as England are concerned in their innings.
And we're due a change.
We are. The bear has returned.
Although, unless they're going to do an early lunch, I don't know. Probably too early for an early lunch, isn't it?
I'd say probably. Okay, well, I will see you when I see you. I've enjoyed the series. Thanks, guys.
Thank you, Forthy. It's been great. and have a great holiday in Sri Lanka.
Well, yes, indeed. Enjoy.
Thank you. I'll report back.
Yeah. What a shit show. Well, I mean, if you mull over this entire game, you'd have to say England probably lost it yesterday when they... I mean, if England had got what they should have got, which was probably a 30-40 run lead, what were they all out for? 116, 160? Probably wouldn't have been enough, but it would have been a competitive total.
But losing 3 wickets last night was absolute killer.
Absolutely.
And 3 prime wickets as well.
Well, I don't know if Pope's prime these days, to be fair. He's a bit of a walking wicket. But, and you have to, you've got to hand, I think, credit to Saud Shakil, who got his ton yesterday. Again, he's one of the wickets. That was one of the turning moments, wasn't it? Probably should have been caught. Maybe another keeper catches that, and he gets out for 29. The rest of those wickets fall, and England have a lead of maybe 60 or 70.
With a very similar ball. Rizwan, big nick, and off Root very neatly.
Yeah, exactly. You got to take those chances. I mean, and then letting get a 70-run lead was criminal. Even if it had been 30,
when they've been 70 runs behind with 3 wickets left.
Well, exactly that. It's all ifs, ands, and maybes. But you got to hand it to them. I think the way that listening to those guys next door, you'd think these spinners were, top class. I mean, they are good in these conditions, but I think they'd struggle in other conditions. I mean, they are just over the arm bowlers. What I do think they have done is the variation in pace is what England spinners have lacked. I mean, if you watch their slowest balls, a lot of the wickets they get are with the balls that are bowled at 74 kilometres an hour. So they've darted them in mid-80s, and they've really held one back, and people are overstretching or playing their shots
too early,
out of time or too early. Exactly that, and that's caused. I mean, that's good thinking from the bowler. It has to be said. But are they the greatest in sliced bread? No, I don't think so. I think they just bowl really well in the conditions. Good. Yeah, I think they are pretty good. But I mean, I think they've used the conditions really well, and that's massively helped.
England don't have spinners of the same quality in those conditions.
No,
they tend to bowl a little bit too quick.
Yeah, well, that's the thing.
And the same tempo all the time.
Well, that's the thing. I mean, that's what I'm saying. I mean, the way that they change their pace and the amount of flight they give it. I mean, this is the thing. If you really hold the pace up, you can really toss it up. And they're generally the ones that have done it. I mean, the ball that got Root this morning was an absolutely fantastic ball. I mean, he really held it back, gave it a lot of loop, and Root just couldn't get out to the ball. And because it had so much loop, it had enough dip and turn. It turned enough to take the edge. I don't think there's a lot Root could have done that, to be honest, apart from try and leave it. But on that line, I don't think you could probably leave it.
No, you have to play that one. It's angled into the stumps and straightened.
Exactly. So anyway, well, this is going to be an early morning, boys.
Yes, I can go and have breakfast in Crystal Palace on my way back.
Yes.
Because this is going to be... They're going to be, 8 overs or less. Well, 6 overs before official lunch, but I can't believe they aren't going to play the whole session out.
I can't either. I imagine Pakistan come out and try and bash it off in 4 overs or something. I suppose England could win if they... What's the lowest ever test score? 27?
26.
26, there you go. New Zealand, isn't it?
Yes, New Zealand against England. There was one that famously, I think you were involved in.
Nearly beat it. The Australians nearly getting hammered by the South Africans.
I remember listening to that and hearing Dan going absolutely...
Well, no, Dan wasn't on it. It was me, Max and Hendo, I think, because everyone else was away, and the whole 3 of us did the entire day. But it was a crazy day. At one point, they were 21 for 9 or something.
Yep. One of the very first test matches of Paceman Pat.
Yeah, it was, yeah. It was a fascinating game.
They struggled up to 50 odd.
Yeah, it was around about that in the end. Some late order slogging managed to get them past the ignominy of having the lowest ever score in Test cricket. And I don't think South Africa did that well after them as well. They were all out for about 80 or 90 or something. But
Do
hey
you know where
ho.
it was?
It was in South Africa, I'm pretty certain, because we weren't doing it overnight, so it must have been
Wanderers?
Wanderers or Newlands, one or the other, yeah.
Wanderers rings a bell because that's somewhere where the ball wobbles around a lot for pace bowlers.
I was just wondering, because South Africa's not generally somewhere that the scores are sort of crazily low, so that must have been a bit of
Nah, but every once in a while you get anomalies, don't you?
Yeah.
So Pakistan need 36 now.
So how long do you reckon this is going to take? Under 5 overs?
No, it'll take them 7 overs.
Yeah. 10 at the outside if they really amble to it, but
you can imagine that England throw out some pies anyway, because their heads would have gone, and they get 10 off the first couple of overs. It might be over very quickly. I mean, who's opening? I can't even remember now.
it'll be Shafiq and Saimayud if they go with the card order.
I imagine they will. They're not exactly the quickest, are they?
No, Shan Masood is a bit more aggressive at 3, but so he might promote himself. But
yeah, not great. Well, England managed to fuck this up. The first test was amazing, although it was a shit test wicket.
Yeah.
What do we think? I mean, Pakistan cooked the wickets for themselves. Fair enough, I suppose, at home. England have faltered.
Well, it still shows that England can't play spin.
Yeah.
They don't have the sophistication of shots and managing the innings to do it.
No.
They've got a bash it technique.
I mean, what was Stokes thinking?
I didn't see that. I was on the bus at that point.
He was. Look at him. He just padded up to a straight one. It's just like fucking insane.
I think his brain's cooked.
A little bit. I don't think.
I mean, that period of passiveness yesterday, normal Ben Stokes would have been all over that, trying to do something.
Well, yeah, I think he missed a couple of tricks yesterday. I think he probably should have bowled round Armand straight after lunch yesterday. He'd just taken 3 wickets before. I was surprised. I think he went with Gus Atkinson straight after lunch, which seemed a bit odd.
Yeah.
I'd have just gone straight to Rowan Ahmed and to carry on.
I can't really remember a time that we've not been saying that England are crap at playing spin, though.
I don't think there is ever a time we have been playing England at crap at playing spin. I mean, to a certain degree, this is why Bazball was kind of brought around, and I think it's fair to criticise England and blah blah blah, but people forget how when England played spin before, they wouldn't have got to 107. They would have faltered and been 67 all out, because they'd have been fiddling around trying not to get out, and still would have got out without scoring any runs. I mean, you can't have it all ways. And hey, we've had some interesting times along the way with Bazball, eh?
Yeah, I mean, it's much more fun.
It is much more fun. It's quite upsetting when it's quite upsetting when you see them get out in these ways and you go, for fuck's sake, just do that. But
better.
I mean, that's the point, isn't it? I mean, the flip side of that was 2 years ago, and you're fiddling around, at least to have a go and at least get some runs on the board. You know, it's the other way round. So it is just the way it is.
I'd rather they were doing this though than
I do as well,
fiddling about and being crap anyway.
And as you say, you can't just criticise England. You have to hand some of it to Pakistan. I mean,
yeah, exactly.
As much as England have lost it, Pakistan have won it, and that's mainly through the bowling of their 2 spinners, but also through some fantastic batting by Saad Shakil yesterday. Play some jingles. I'll be back in a second.
Yep. The batsmen are going to be this guy.
Abdullah.
and the latest member of the club that where you've opened the batting and opened the bowling.
For the first time, they've done something right. Cause the selectors pick Simon Ayub. Simon Ayub. Simon Ayub.
We didn't play his jingle when he was batting, so we're going to play it when he was bowling. This man is going to open the bowling for England.
Coming up, here's a face that I know. It's Jack Leach. Now coming up is Jack Leach. Oh, Jack Leach.
Who's going to bowl the first ball? Which is a shit ball. It's short. There's two slips. There's a short cover. Abdullah Shafiq is facing up. First ball was a drag down from Leach. Give it some air. They just don't want to do it, do they?
He just doesn't. He bowls flat for his first over generally.
Yeah. Second ball is defended out to the offside. There is no run. Really, yeah, they've got to learn to properly toss it up as well. Third ball is in on middle and leg, but there's no mid wicket. It's just going to be an easy single.
Yes, I've just noticed that we've, as I was playing the jingles, we've got two guys now in this test who've both opened the batting and opened the bowling.
Yeah.
Simon Ayub and Jack Leach.
Very true. Not in this test though. Saeem did open the bowling, didn't he? That was a weird one.
For 1 over.
For 1 over. Don't know why that was. Anyway, Leach is going to bowl around the wicket to Saeem, who drives that up to mid-off, and there is no run. You wonder if in the dressing room they, tomorrow they really won't care.
Well,
I don't think it's a bad attitude, but
they'll have a round of golf this afternoon by then.
Yeah, probably true. Get back an early plane. I mean, some of them presumably are going straight out to New Zealand, aren't they?
Two of them are.
Well, Jordan Cox is, isn't he?
Two are going.
No.
Two are going to the West Indies. I don't know which two. There's a bowler and a batsman. They're being released to go into the West Indies squad.
I think Bryden Cast is going out there, is he not? Slog swept,
Yeah.
nicely slog swept by Saeem. It's off his pads. It's down to long leg.
Yeah, I think that was right, because after the jingle.
1, 2, 3, 4.
That kind of explains why he wasn't picked for this test, because he was being rested for the West Indies series.
Yep.
Because I would have thought he would have definitely played, given his performance in the second test.
Well, yeah, I think they gambled, didn't they? They knew it was going to be a pitch that really wasn't going to suit any pieces. I mean, they were right in that respect. That's slog swept as well. Off middle stump this time, but it's down, same results. And we've had 9 off the first over.
And let's just look and see what's on YouTube.
Oh, that was a no ball as well.
Oh, so it's not the end of the over.
Nope.
It's a pretty big one as well.
Yeah, it was. Shouldn't be bowling no balls, Jack.
Yeah, I don't know how spinners do bowl no balls.
No,
to be
I agree.
honest.
Oh yeah, well I've never bowled a no ball. Leach around the wicket. That one's flatter and shorter, and Saeem just goes back, knocks it into the leg side, and there's no run.
Messages off air says Pakistan have 243 overs in which to score 36.
Wow.
Putting it into and the Bear will also be relieved to know that the GPL is safe.
Well, that's what I was going to wonder. I was trying to figure out how many runs England have scored today. They came out, what, 27 was it, or something?
Yeah, somewhere between 25 and 30.
Got a request from David Dorrell for the Stop Being Shit jingle.
Well, we can do that.
Yeah. I did do the 5th jingle yesterday.
Yeah, I saw that. I heard that even. I was next door. Bashir is going to start the second over.
Let's jingle him up quickly.
Bashir likes to attack.
His first ball is into the pads, 2 flat, and turning into the pads, worked around the corner, down behind square, and I'll get 2. So he scored a third of the runs in 7 balls. So it should be over at this rate, just before lunch, officially. But, of course, they will carry on until it is over. Bashir over the wicket into the pads. Abdullah just working into the leg side, and there is no run. Phew, running repairs on my lighter. Now I can have my reefer, which I definitely need. I'm going to go back to sleep. When this is over, Bashir tosses that one up. It's better, but it's played beyond him. Fielded by Duckett at mid-on. And there is no run. Abdullah 3, Saeem 8, Pakistan 12 for none after 1.3 overs, chasing just a paltry 24. She'll now be down to 22. That's gone for 2 runs. Skipper Stokes chases after it.
He's had a match to forget, hasn't he?
Hasn't he just?
Yeah.
Well, I suppose he came into the series cold as well. Missed the first test, didn't he? Because he wasn't quite covered from injury. I think the next tests in New Zealand will suit them better. It's not going to be spinning wickets, is it? It'll be back to normal.
No,
well, we haven't got to worry about playing in the subcontinent for another 2 years. Well, there's an appeal for one down the leg side.
Oh, they've reviewed it.
They have reviewed it. I'm not sure you got anything on that.
Well, he's got 3 reviews.
He's got 3 reviews and he's got 22 runs, yeah.
Mental. I love it.
It zipped across the batsman.
If he's got a nick on this, it's going to be the tiniest of scratches.
Yeah. Looked like it to me. He did kind of follow it a little bit.
And you've got to give your bowlers a chance.
Why not? It's just a poor ball though, isn't it? I mean, it's on the stumps. Yeah, possibly actually.
Close. I think it's more thigh pad than it is bat, potentially, as a sound.
Well, it's close to the bat as it goes past. Well, you definitely heard a noise, that's why they appealed.
And it looks like it moved.
Could be a little scratch.
We have a super chat in the meantime. Hombre Nuevo sends us £5 English pounds. Says, Mr. DVL, so have a fiver. That's not a fiver. Cheers for the fabulous coverage, I think you mean.
Yeah. Well, there wasn't anything on the bat. It was pretty close, but there was nothing there.
Thank you, Hombre. You are a new man.
Yeah. Bashir over the wicket, tosses that one up, and it's driven down to mid-off, and there is no run. Ends the second over, 14 for none.
Desmond Ray says, I am so sorry for Joe. Yeah, having to shoulder the weight of this team's non-performances.
What, Joe Root?
Yeah.
I don't know if he has to shoulder it, really. I think Stokes has to shoulder it.
Yeah.
Brooks got out in some silly ways. After the first tests.
Well, he does like to play back and whip it into the leg side.
Well, I mean...
And that's caught him out in this test.
At the end of the day, that Pakistan had to do something. I mean, they're at home. I mean, you kind of think that having not had Test cricket at home for so long, well, there's a big appeal for LBW. If he's missed that, I'll give that a review. If he didn't get any bat on that, yeah, definitely. We're having another review. Fuck it. We've got 3.
You're going to use them all.
Might as well use them all. I think that's a pretty good shout, actually.
I think that might just go over the top, but...
Well, I think at worst it'll be clipping. I mean, it is a brand new ball, so it might do.
But quicker ball from Leach.
Yeah.
You got him a little bit.
I mean, this is it. The variation of pace between top and bottom Pakistani bowlers was a good 20, 24 kilometres an hour. That's
close. That's
might just be outside the line, I suppose.
Yeah.
But it's very close.
It's another guy where they expected a turn. They played with the sort of windscreen wiper blade of the bat instead of just straight back.
That angle as well seemed to be a bit from mid-on. It'd be interesting to see what it is straight on. Is there anything? There's nothing on the bat.
It's all about ball tracking now.
Oh, I think that could be in line with off stump, you know. Fight back could be on here, boys. Well, let's have a look. It is in line. That's out. That is out. That's hitting. It's a good review from England. That's hitting middle and leg. And Saeem has to go. It's on. Not really, but.
On your bike, mate. Bye-bye.
See, Sean, I told you should have opened with yourself.
Yeah. It's all, so many ifs and buts in this, ifs, ands and buts in this game, isn't there? It's just a little bit more application from England.
Anyway, he brings the captain to the crease. Here's his jingle.
Sean Masood was born in Kuwait in October 1989. Less than a year later, Saddam Hussein invaded. Coincidence? Yeah, you keep telling yourself that.
And in other news, in the other Asian Test match, Jaiswal has his 50 in Pune, India 92 for 1 in pursuit of 359.
Well, they've got plenty of time to do it in. Yeah, going back to this, I mean, Pakistan, I guess, when was the first test? The first test they played back in Pakistan, proper test, was against Australia only about 3 or 4 years ago, wasn't it?
Yeah, because England's test in Pindi was, I think, the next series.
Yeah, it was the second lot. And I guess, having been out of international cricket that long, I mean, they wanted pitches, they wanted crowds in, and they wanted the games to go 5 days, so they created those flat things. And they've also got very good seam options, right? So they wanted to create something that will work for the seamers. Leach down the track comes Shah Masood, bashes it over extra cover. He's not hanging around. It's 4 runs.
That's why I said he should have opened.
Yeah. Well, to be fair, Saeed did slog sweep 2 for 2 fours. And so I guess there was a little bit of that, and they still thought, oh, maybe we'll get out some draws, and you know, but that's boring. And then they got beaten in a load of tests. And they've got to come up with a formula that works for them at home with test pitches, and I guess maybe that takes a little bit of time. Domestic cricket is not the same as test cricket. Reverse swept in air, really, but over where point would be. It's going to be 4 more runs. And I mean, this is the first test, I think, the commentators were saying, in Pakistan, where Pakistan have not bowled a single over of pace, and that's a little bit of a worry. I don't think you want to create pitches that offer nothing to. I mean, this is it. It's coming up with a balanced pitch, isn't it? That does do what you want it to do and break up after 2 or 3 days. Down the track comes Shah Masood. That's a big one.
That's
over the
such
top.
A shot.
It's a big 6, and this is going to be over very, very shortly. Well, how quickly it can turn to shit. After that first test, we were all cock-a-hoop. And Pakistan have come back well. Even at times in the second test, we were on top, weren't we? I seem to remember.
Well, we were 220 for 2, and then lost 7 wickets for about 80 runs.
That's right, yeah. That was right. The wicket suddenly turned that afternoon, didn't it? And that was the end of that one. That's reverse swept by Shah Masood, picked up from outside his leg stump. It'll go for 4. It's 30 for 1.
I'd argue that.
Go on, Will.
I'd argue that if like 2 hours of the last 2 tests had gone differently, England could be looking at a 3-0. Do you know what I mean? Like, I think if that second afternoon in the second test, and if sort of, I don't know,
Yesterday afternoon had gone differently. Hoiked by Shah Massoud. Oh, there is a long on down there. It's Zach
He's just
Crawley.
going to nick the strike.
Oh yeah, he's going to nick the strike. 17 off 5, Shah Massoud.
Out of interest, do you think that they should, I'm not saying they will because they won't, but do you think they should sit Ollie Pope down for a bit?
I would be tempted to. I really would. I'm not sure he's the answer at 3. I mean, he's not consistent up. Yeah, it's great he gets a ton, but if it's only once every 10 matches, I mean, they did that with Zach Crawley, and
he's the new Johnny Bairstow.
And he's turned around. He is a little bit, but you don't want your new Johnny Bairstow at number 3. 3 is an important position. I don't go along with put Root up at number 3. You leave Root where he is. You don't alter the parts that aren't broken. You find solutions to the bits that are. Down the track, Shah Massoud has gone up and over. There's no one down there. 6 runs. Pakistan
That's the way to win the match.
That'll do.
Pakistan won by 9 wickets. Congratulations to them. The first home Test series win for them in this is the 4th attempt or 5th attempt?
20 odd years.
Well, yeah, presumably
since 2009,
since coming back,
when they stopped playing at home.
They've lost every series, is that right? Because they lost that Australia one, didn't they? After 3 really
lost England
soporific games.
Lost the Bangladesh one.
Did they lose that Bangladesh one?
Yeah, they lost 2-0 to Bangladesh. 2 Test series, they lost 2-0. That wasn't expected. Did they lose to New Zealand as well?
I thought they lost 1-0.
I think New Zealand beat them at home.
No, 1 test drawn and 1 test lost.
Yeah. What, against Bangladesh? I thought it was 2-0.
No, against New Zealand.
Oh, right, yeah, possibly. I mean, they got 2 draws and a loss against Australia, didn't they? There were a lot of draws and a lot of pitches that don't do a lot. I mean, it's good to have pitches that do stuff. Again, flip side of that, this game is over in 2 days and less than a session. Don't want that in a Test match either.
No.
So they've got to find a balance for their pitches, but I'm guessing they'll be happy that they've won a series, and it'll do their home cricket some good, as Forty said. I mean, you don't want Pakistan losing endlessly at home. I mean, and no Test side wants to lose at home. And I mean, if you look historically around the world in the last 10 years, I don't even want to lose at home, do they? Most teams win at home. England have won away in Sri Lanka. They have won away in Pakistan, so they're not useless against spin. It's just, it has to click right. Generally, Root has to get some runs. And it depends.
Basically, from what I can see, it's you have to have Root do something special, Brook to do something special, and then everyone else to kind of chip in with a bit.
Well, there are plenty of capable batsmen. I mean, Duckett's had a pretty decent tour, really. Scored 450s.
Oh yeah, no. I'm not doing any of them down. It's just sort of if like when you're going kind of.
Well, Gillespie is vindicated for his change of tactic.
Well, absolutely. I mean, Pakistan needed to come up with something. I mean, might be fair enough to say they might have saved Pakistani Test cricket here with this series. I just think that they won't. I think they need to nuance the wicket situation a little bit more. I mean, you don't want a Test series where seamers don't have any say whatsoever.
Nuances. If you paint things in black and white, it never looks quite the same as if you have the different shades of grey or colour that you can impart. I mean,
I'm sure
baseball has evolved for that exact same reason.
Yeah, to a degree. It wasn't.
Then Joe Root has realised it's not for him, and he's better doing his own thing. Pakistan are on the early steps of their new plan for how they're going to play Test cricket.
Because there's
at home and away.
There's a whole generation of Pakistani cricketers that haven't played in Pakistan.
Yeah.
So there's got to be, like, in terms of selection and stuff, like, they're still very much in the early stages of knowing who suits what and what suits
and how to win a test in Pakistan.
Well, exactly that. I mean,
Yeah.
they're trying to figure out their home, and this is it. I mean, as I said, I
What's the best part of home advantage that they can use?
exactly that. But they do have some very good seam bowlers as well, and just basically discarded them and decided they're going to create massively spin-friendly wickets.
I mean, Shaheen didn't bowl particularly well, but was very disappointed that Naseem Shah didn't come into the side.
No,
I thought he would come in for this test because I thought they would jettison Zahid Mahmood, who did virtually nothing in the last test.
Well, they didn't need. Only need 2 bowlers, really, didn't they? I mean, they only need Noman Ali
and he's a better batsman than Zahid Mahmood. Let's put it that way. The same way that Mal has done nothing wrong and not really had much to do.
Well, he had nothing to do. He didn't bowl a ball.
Didn't bowl a ball. Batted a little bit and got out.
Yeah, and that'll be dispiriting for the Pakistani pace ranks as well, isn't it? I mean, it's not. They've got to play and they've got to get practice because they're not going to get this when they come to England, for example.
Yes,
You're going to need your pace.
They will have a definite role to play away from home.
Yeah, so you've got to be out, but they've got to feel that they're part of the team in the same way that Jack Leach is just hauled in for the overseas tours. You don't want your premier pace bowlers doing that in Pakistan either, do you? So interesting. Getting rid of Babar Azam didn't affect them, which is an interesting one.
He will come back, I think. He's too good a player not to work on it and work out what needs to be fixed. No, he's Joe Root 5 years late.
Well, he's not that
earlier
young
in
anymore.
his career.
He's late 20s now, Babar Azam. Is that 29, I think?
Yep.
Yeah.
He's having a dip in form. I'm sure it'll come back, as you say. When confidence comes back to the team, I imagine it'll come back to the batsman as well. What can we say? I guess for me, South Shakil, man of the match.
Standout player,
yeah.
In a match where 20 wickets went to spin and he's got the only ton.
Yeah, exactly that.
And
it could have been all so different. It could have fucking held that catch yesterday.
Yeah. And the other person of the series who did well, I mean, you can't really look past the spinners for Pakistan in their side to say, who's had a great performance. But Shakil has had one. Salman Ali Agha has had one with the bat as well.
Yeah.
And the two spinners have been standouts.
And of course, England, I imagine, might have the highest run scorers in Root and Brook anyway, just for the innings in the first test.
Duckett won't be far away either.
No, this is it. Duckett's done well. Crawley's been a bit patchy, but he's done okay. As soon as the spin started happening, he looked a bit more
flat-footed. I think
Pope's had a shocker.
I think Axton's not had a bad.
And I think he had a pretty good. In fact, all the paces.
And
Cars had a good tour. Yeah, I mean, England's pace bowlers did well.
Worked hard.
Yeah, worked hard and didn't do too bad. I think England's spinning. Nouse was disappointing. Not so much in the last test, I think in this test particularly. And unusually, Stokes went a little bit off the boil for captaincy, as we said yesterday afternoon. It should have been. I mean, South Shakil only scored 5 boundaries or something in his 130, which means he needs a.
Well, he was given a lot of runs so he could just ding it to the leg side.
Yeah,
exactly. No mid wicket for a spinner, criminal.
Well, exactly that. I mean, you're saying you want him to play through there because it's against the grain, but batsmen play the shot anyway, don't they? I mean, he doesn't want to just play a forward defensively. They're always looking for runs, so you need to plug the singles.
And it was just too easy for him to rock onto the back foot and just work it into the holes. No,
you could say that's down to your bowlers a little bit and control.
Yeah, if that's happening too often, then you may as well bring the field up and make him hit over the top.
Exactly that, especially on a turning pitch. If one turns rag sharply, you can get stumping, or it balloons in the air, goes nowhere, and gets caught.
If I was Gary and doing a scores for the series, I'd give Jamie Smith a B, possibly a B minus. No, he's been okay, but he dropped a catch.
Well, he's had a couple of howlers, and he's made a couple of big mistakes. There was that have actually you know, if you were being critical, you would say probably cost England both games, actually. I mean, there was that straightforward outside edge that he just shelled in the last test. Can't remember who that was, but we were ahead of the game then, weren't we? And then
that was Samaraga, I think.
That was it, and he was on about, what, 7 or 10 or something, and he went on to get a 70 or 80, which put them in a commanding position. And again, yesterday, he's dropped South Shakil when he was on about 20, and he went on to get another 100 runs. And, you know, those 2 drops... catches win matches and all that shit, and in places like this where very few chances get made and you've got to hang on to the ones that do, you'd have to say that those 2 drops probably could have cost England the series, really, which is harsh on him, but it has to be said. I mean, I don't remember folks being completely blameless in subcontinental conditions.
Anyone can miss something in the third session of a tiring hot day in the boiling sun.
Yeah. And also, I think kind of like more kind of generally, isn't that why we all love cricket?
Yeah.
That, like, it all, like, a 5-day game can completely change because something happened that took under a second on the second afternoon of, you know what I mean? It's like,
well,
that's
exactly
the whole point, isn't it?
That is the whole point. And you know, I don't think 260 was far off a par score, maybe 20 runs under, and Pakistan managed to get over par, helped along by a couple of England mistakes. Anyway, I think we should wrap up there. We could endlessly dissect this, and we'll have plenty of time to do so when we come back. We'll probably forget about it next because we'll be doing some white ball cricket, and before you know it, it'll be in New Zealand, and this will have all been put on the back burner, which is, I guess, one of the reasons why Stokes doesn't dwell on the past and you just look forward.
Just finishing off the tweets, Ombrunova said, don't worry, all I need now is 9 really quick wickets and we have got this. Leah reminds us that her chat with Will premieres later today. I'll be there live in the chat. Please join her. Gill's out in the other game. India 96 for 2. And Messages also says, so much for the win toss win match idea.
Well, yeah. Well, I think England a bit overthought it on the first one as well. I mean, this pitch wasn't as bad as it looked like it was, but they had first use of it and they thought it was going to just get worse and worse and worse, and it didn't actually.
No,
if anything, it got slightly better.
Well, I think the second day was probably the best for batting.
Yeah.
Whether that's due to the pitch or whether that's due to the England bowling is another matter.
Well, yeah, there is that.
And finally, from Leah, what are you on about Pope having a shocker? He captained the only test match they won this series.
Yeah, but he didn't do anything in it.
Yes, he had 5 and watched as someone else scored 450.
Yeah.
Or some other people scored 450.
Indeed. And his bowlers did the job. Right, that's it. We're back for some white ball cricket in the West Indies, which is a more leisurely time for the UK. It'll be beer o'clock when those start.
Well, yes, it is for the T20s are a bit better. The
ODIs will go till about 2 in the morning, I think.
They will.
But, that's still not the end of the world. That's not the latest. It's not 4 or 5 in the morning. It's not so bad. It's
I'd much rather.
So that starts
than the starting early.
Exactly.
Starts next Thursday, the 30th.
What, this one coming
30th
up?
or 31st, yeah.
Fuck me, in 4 days' time.
That's why they were pretty much flying out straight away.
Yeah, crying out now.
It's all go, 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 go. And there's one on the following Tuesday, I think, of the one-dayers.
And then it's all T20s, 5 T20s, isn't it?
Yeah.
Back to the smash and grab. Okie dokie. Right, we're out of here.
Right.
We shall see you then on Thursday.
Yep.
Love you all.
Bye.
Bye.
See you Thursday. Bye.
Guerrilla cricket. Whoa. Guerrilla cricket. Whoa. Guerrilla. Take guard, man the barricades, patrol the cover boundary. At last the time is come. This is a cricketing
emergency. Hear this call to arms for every cricket revolutionary. Take up your bats and stumps for the test match insurgency. At first they tried to silence us, but we would not be silenced. They threatened us with lies, so we threatened them with violence. Che Guevara, Sangakkara, Joseph Stalin, Douglas Jardine, Robespierre, Darrell Hare, Vladimir Lenin, O'Brien Kevin, guerrilla cricket. It's not about the winning, it's about how many rules you break. Even in cricket commentary, this is the best advice to take. Pick guerrilla cricket, it's the finest choice you'll ever make. There's so much more to cricket than red counters and a slice of cake. At first they tried to sanitize us and clean up our act, but people like it filthy, and we know that for a fact. Fidel Castro, Lenny Pascoe, Carlos the Jackal, Umar Akmal, Mahatma Gandhi, Grant and Andy, Brendan Behan, Austin Ian,